Hello everyone, this is your friend from Naruto Audio Fanfics, and we are back once again with a brand new fanfic. Which is what if Naruto Uzumaki was changed by an ancient forbidden seal with Hinata Hyuga by his side, Part 2. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to hit the like button, thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel for more amazing Naruto fanfics like this. So without wasting any more time, let's start today's fanfic. Hinata, age 13, was in her room assembling everything she needed. After seeing that all of the food and other required necessities were gathered together, she took and opened the scroll Naruto, age 13, prepared for her in advance. She used it to seal away everything she assembled in her room. When that was done, she rolled the scroll close and tied it before hiding it inside her Eskimo-like jacket. Seeing that she was ready to go, she left her room and made a quick pace through the house to meet up with Naruto, age 13. On the way she passed by Hanabi, age 8, who was walking from the opposite from her. "You're sure in a hurry this early in the morning, Nisan," Hanabi acknowledged. "I'm, reeing to meet up with Naruto-kun," Hinata replied between her stuttering. "I see," Hanabi replied, "though I still don't understand what you see in him, Nisan." "Why so?" Hinata asked as turned to face her younger sister. "He's not a prodigy," Hanabi explained, "or strong as Neji, age 14. He has the poorest grades and is the dead last year class from what this Uchiha Sasuke, age 13, once told me when he came by here some time ago. And everyone knows this Naruto is a troublemaker and he's constantly getting into trouble. I'm even more confused as to why father, despite knowing about Naruto's infamous reputation, even allows you to associate with such a hooligan, let alone hang out with him from time to time. I fear that your time with him will have a bad influence on you, Nisan. You may start acting like him. The elders, as you already know, don't approve of your friendship with him." What Hanabi didn't mention was that frequently she'd hide behind walls, crates, and other objects large enough to conceal her appearance whenever she was secretly eavesdropping or spying on Hinata and Naruto whenever he came by to spend time with Hinata. Sometimes she would try to move and hide behind closer objects in order to hear what they were talking about. So far Hanabi wasn't able to find out much about the things they'd talk about, and oftentimes they would move on and head someplace else before she could really hear anything they were talking about. Hanabi would try to study Naruto while trying to ascertain whether he was all of the negative things she heard people say about him. She never once felt any form of hostility or danger from him as she overheard some of the things the villagers said of him. She couldn't understand why almost everyone in Konoha hated Naruto and treated him harshly. True, he pulls a lot of pranks and jokes, but none of them were ever life-threatening to anyone. "And where do you stand in all this?" Hinata asked. "I doubt what I say would matter anyway," Hanabi remarked. "You wouldn't listen regardless and you would still choose to be with Naruto anyway." "I will admit," Hinata replied meekly, "I never thought you were that attentive to me. I learned to be mindful of things that take place on around me," Hanabi said, "something father taught me. But tell me, why do you choose Naruto over Sasuke? I know this Sasuke person really likes you and a few times he even asked me a few things about you." "Did he?" Hinata asked, rather surprised by that revelation. "And, what did you tell him?" "If you must know," Hanabi replied, "I told him that if he's so interested in you to go ask you his questions himself." "I see," Hinata said, holding back a giggle that wanted to escape her throat. "I appreciate your concern for me, but I must be on my way now." "But Nisan," Hanabi was about to say something further, but Hinata turned and ran off from the manor. "She never answered my question," Hanabi said to herself before she turned and walked deeper into the house. "Why does Nisan like Naruto so much? And why is father willing to overlook Naruto's faults and ill-viewed reputation and allow him to even associate with us? I don't understand." Meanwhile, Hinata saw that was she about to be running late, so she quickened the pace. She was making good timing when Hinata stopped and turned to see Sasuke walking and making his way over to her. "No," Hinata sighed, "not now. Sasuke-san," Hinata greeted. Smiling, Sasuke said, "Since you're on your way to the academy, how about we walk and talk together? I could use the company." "I suppose," Hinata replied as Sasuke smoothly walked and stepped up next to her at her left. Sasuke and Hinata started walking towards the academy while Hinata's mind was racing with many thoughts in her mind. "This isn't good," Hinata thought. "If I don't think of something fast, I'll Sasuke-kun. Two female voices yelled out. Sasuke sighed and grumbled under his breath, not those two again. Hinata looked to see Ino, age 13, and Sakura, age 13, running and racing to catch up with Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, wait for me, Ino shouted as she quickened her pace. Out of my way, Ino pig, Sakura yelled while trying to shove Ino out of her way. Fat chance forehead girl, Ino retorted as she shoved Sakura away from her. The two girls caught up to Sasuke and Hinata. Sasuke-kun, Ino asked as charming and feminine as possible, why don't we walk together to class? No way, Sakura argued, I'm going to be walking with Sasuke-kun. Seeing this momentary distraction, Hinata looked to see a collared black cat run by. Deciding to follow it, Hinata went after the cat, causing the cat to run off from her. A moment later, Sasuke turned to see Hinata running from them in a different direction. Where is she going? Sasuke asked himself before leaving Ino and Sakura to argue with each other before realizing that Sasuke was no longer there with them but following after Hinata. What does he see in her? Ino asked aloud. I'm a clan heiress too. Shut up, pig, Sakura replied. I'm someone special too. In your own world, your forehead, Ino shot back as she and Sakura chased after Sasuke. The Uchiha looked and saw Hinata turn and run into an alley. He followed after her and soon entered the same alley she ran into. He found Hinata trying to encourage a cute-looking young black kitten standing on top of a tall fence to come to her. You ran all this way for a small cat? Sasuke asked skeptically. It might belong to someone, Hinata said. I thought I'd retrieve and return the cat. Sakura and Ino entered the alley and found Sasuke and Hinata standing in front of the tall wooden fence that blocked any passage through the alley. Here, kitty, Hinata said sweetly with her arms extended toward the feline, it's all right. You can come to me. I'll take you back to your owner safely, I promise. The black kitten meowed before it turned and jumped to the other side of the fence and ran off. It got away, Hinata said a bit sadly. I really thought I had her that time. You wasted Sasuke-kun's time for a cat, Sakura asked with a scolding tone. Hinata lowered her head meekly. That's enough out of you, Sakura, Sasuke replied as he turned away from the fence. It's not Hinata's fault. I chose to follow after her. Besides, we need to hurry on our way to class now. We're about to be late. Seeing what Sasuke was talking about, the four of them made their way out of the alley and toward the academy. The said black kitten jumped back over the fence and walked out of the alley to see the group heading away from her. The kitten then ran off in another direction. 30 minutes later, outside the village walls in the forest. She's running late, Naruto said as he stood at the bottom base of the waterfall. It's not like Hinata to be late like this. I wonder if something came up. Naruto waited for another 8 minutes. He was about to get up and investigate what happened when his eyes caught sight of a black kitten approaching him. Curiously, he went over toward the kitten as the female feline meowed to him. Hey there, Naruto asked, what are you doing out here? When he got close enough to the kitten, he was about to reach down to pick it up when the kitten burst into a cloud of smoke. Huh, Naruto said confusedly. When the smoke cleared, it revealed to be Hinata standing in the spot the kitten was. Hinata-chan, Naruto said happily. What happened? I was getting worried. It was hard getting here without getting caught, Hinata said. I ran into one obstacle and then another. What were they? Naruto asked. Hanabi kept pressing the matter about why I like you so much before I was able to get away from her. Hinata explained. I had a run-in with Sasuke who wanted to be my escort to the academy before Ino and Sakura appeared wanting to accompany Sasuke to class. How did you get away from them? Naruto asked. I found a kitten and followed after it into an alley. Catching it, I quickly made a cage cushion of myself before I leapt to the top of the fence blocking the alley with the kitten. Letting the kitten go to the other side of the fence, I hinged into the same kitten and stood top of the fence just as Sasuke arrived. My clone acted quickly in acting like she was trying to retrieve and bring me back home to my owner. I ran off and hid myself until I was in the clear to leave by means of another route and make my way over here where you were waiting. But I had to stay in that kitten form while avoiding being spotted. Naruto laughed and applauded Hinata's ingenuity. That was so cool how you got away from them, my sly moon's eye spring rabbit, Naruto cheered. You're becoming more like me every day. Yeah, Hinata replied. That's what Hanabi said. I'm still wondering how you talked me into cutting class today just so you can spend the day with me and do something better with your time other than listening to Ruka-sensei ever so interesting lectures, Naruto interjected. If father finds out about this, Hinata said worriedly. He won't, Naruto assured. This is our cut day, the day we get to cut class and do whatever we want so long we don't get caught doing so. I pulled stunts like this through the year whenever I wanted to skip out on class without getting caught when there was something I wanted to train myself in that required more of my time and energy. Besides, I believe I told you already that Iruka sensei's planned lectures that I managed to look into yesterday won't involve any spars or any physical training. Just reviews of about the history of our late Yondaime and how he brought about Kyuubi's defeat. And that doesn't interest you as something worth reviewing? Hinata asked. Did it do likewise with you seeing that we're both here now? Naruto shot back. Fair comment. Hinata shrugged before reaching into her jacket and pulling the rolled up tide scroll out. In any case, there's no turning back now. We might as well get our proclaimed cut day started. You sound more excited about this than I do, Naruto teased. I just hope we don't get caught, Hinata said. Relax, Naruto assured. I'll make sure nothing happens to you. You promise? Hinata asked for reassurance. I give you my word, Naruto said confidently, and I never go back on my word. It's my Nindo. Datbeo. Having his reassurance, Hinata opened the scroll and laid it on the ground. Standing in front of it, she made the required hand sign. Kai, Hinata said as the scroll burst into a cloud of smoke and unsealed its contents. Meanwhile, everyone was in class reviewing the notes Iruka was giving them about Yondaime and his time reigning as the Hokage before Kyuubi's attack on the village. Hinata was sitting at her desk going over her notes while Naruto, now wearing a ridiculous bright orange jumpsuit with blue and white linings around it with a pair of goggles around his head, was resting his head on the desk, sleeping. After another 20 minutes, Naruto, Iruka yelled. Naruto woke up instantly and stood up from his desk and yelled, I'm innocent. I swear I wasn't peeping and sneaking into the women's bathhouse again. Everyone burst out laughing at Naruto's reaction as he looked around and realized where he was. At least we know where your mind is, Naruto, Iruka remarked. Now you mind explaining what we the class were discussing? Something about Yondaime and Iwa, and how he slaughtered a whole army of Iwa ninjas by himself in less than a second, Naruto said, scratching the back of his head, though I don't quite understand how a mere human like Yondaime could kill a Biju, let alone the strongest of them. I know Yondaime was a powerful Hokage and everything, but it doesn't seem to make sense to me whenever I think about it. Something about that story doesn't quite add up. Iruka hid his nervous expression while thinking of something to say. Could Naruto be on the verge of figuring out the village's darkest secret? Iruka wondered worriedly. Naruto, Kiba, age 13, said, little ever makes sense to you. Besides, I'm sure you were sleeping in class when that part of your question was covered. Before Naruto could retort. That's right, Iruka said, piggyback riding on Kiba's statement. Next time stay awake for my class and you'd probably understand the village's history more than you do now. Whatever, Naruto snorted as he sat back down on his seat and turned to look at Sasuke. Sasuke grunted as his response to Naruto. Don't act like you're all cool and crap, Tem, Naruto said. Naruto, Iruka warned, one more outburst from you and I'll have you on bathroom duty. Don't you mean bathhouse duty? Naruto asked jokingly. No, you moron, Iruka yelled with his face reddened. Everyone was laughing again. Idiot, Sasuke muttered. Just sit down and pay attention, Iruka said after calming down. Seeing that Naruto was done causing another ruckus, Iruka resumed the review with the class. I think I played my part convincingly, Naruto thought, and Hinata is doing likewise also. Back at the waterfall deep in the forest, Naruto, wearing only his black swimming trunks, was standing at the base of the waterfall with 6 of his kage bushins, was catching his breath while they were standing in front of the falling waters. Hinata, wearing her white two-piece bathing suit, was standing on the water several feet behind Naruto and his clones. She was wearing her swim's clothes underneath her regular clothes earlier before she left her house, thus she didn't have to waste time putting them on after arriving at the waterfall. She simply had to remove her regular clothes and sandals. It was likewise with Naruto and his swim trunks. Off to the side at the shore of the waterfall was a prepared picnic site with their drinks, lunches, towels and folded clothes were. A large comforter blanket was opened and lying on ground where their belongings were. A moment later, Naruto dispelled his clones and absorbed the experience his clones had gained for him. That was really good, Naruto-kun, Hinata cheered. You managed to split the waterfall that time. Naruto turned and gave Hinata a large smile. I've been practicing that for some time now, Naruto said. It's only now I've managed to finally get the job done. You came a long way, Hinata replied, but I still have a way to go in mastering my water manipulation. But you made great progress too, Naruto encouraged, far more than you thought you would. At the rate you're going, you'll be a true spring water rabbit. Manipulating some of the water around them, Hinata levitated it over to her and shaped it into 2 bunny ears over her head while making a bunny tail with the rest of the remaining water. Aren't I already a spring rabbit? Hinata joked. A delicious looking one at that, I might add, Naruto said with a lecherous smile as he eyed Hinata up and down. As a young teenager, Naruto saw that Hinata was developing in a beautiful girl and her were developing between B and C cup, which was surprising even for him. With regards to her body, she had a figure many girls their age would die for, and her secret training with Naruto only served to help shape it all the more. Hinata's face was burning crimson at Naruto's behavior and how he was studying her. True, Hinata admitted to herself, Naruto-kun is a pervert, there's no denying that fact. But he never had me do anything I was never comfortable with or bring more trouble for me than it was worth. As Hinata was looking at Naruto, she too saw how Naruto have changed and developed over the course of time. No longer was he that slim undernourished orphan who ate only ramen or whatever else he could eat. His time practicing and training vigorously with a better diet plan really did works on his now built well-toned yet still developing body. And his seals in Ryoku Fujin, Gravity Seal, Chakra Sokubaku Fujin, Chakra Restraint Seal, served to add to the strength and stamina his body radiated and carried. Still, Hinata thought, there were times, secretly, wished that I could just. Hinata, Naruto called out, Earth to Hinata-chan. Hinata snapped out of her daze daydreaming and looked back at Naruto. Were you dreaming of me? Naruto teased. Hinata's red face clearly confirmed Naruto's suspicions. I hope I was everything you were dreaming of in whatever fantasy you were having, Naruto remarked. Naruto-kun, behave, Hinata giggled. Well, Naruto said, changing the subject, it's time for your training session. Nodding, Hinata prepared for her training as she walked and moved away from the waterfall. Clearing her mind off all distractions, she assumed a Jiyuken stance on top of the water and started practicing the water manipulation stances that Naruto helped her learn. The moves themselves weren't typical water manipulating stances that most water-type ninjas used. These stances were more like a hybrid blend of Tai Chi and ballet dancing with a mix of Jiyuken. For the past 10 months, Hinata had been practicing hard in her water manipulation. While doing so, she experimented on creating new water battle moves, both offensive and defensive types, and combining them with her Jiyuken. That was proving to be a difficult task over the first couple of months, as a backlash effect would occur whenever she failed to fuse her Jiyuken and water manipulation with Byakugan. In time though, she was seeing signs that her perseverance and consistency were starting to pay off as she was making pleasing progress in her efforts. For half of their elemental training over the months, Naruto had focused on Hinata strengthening her stances, so that she could withstand the backlash effect of failing to fuse Jiyuken and water manipulation, while at the same time, be able to control the amount of water she used. Naruto explained that using elemental manipulation and Jiyuken would be very difficult to pull off, since it was almost like trying to do 2 things at the same time. But he was sure that in time, Hinata would be able to pull it off. Naruto's own training was far from easy. He spent nearly every day practicing his wind manipulation, but slowly and surely he was making progress and improving his strengthening the use of his elemental affinity, along with strengthening his chakra control with the help of his Chakra Sokubaku Fujin. As Naruto watched Hinata gracefully maneuver her body with such fluidity, with the river waters levitating and dancing around her body as she manipulated it, he couldn't help but admire her beauty, strength and self-confidence she developed over the years. If only she would do that kind of water dancing under a full moon in a starlit night, Naruto wondered with a blush and perverted giggle escaping his mouth. After another 25 minutes, Hinata smoothly concluded her training and took a breath. How was I? Hinata asked as she turned to look back at Naruto. Mind if I get your performance on DVD? Naruto joked. Hinata giggled with her cheeks reddened. So I did good then, Hinata figured. Awesome is more like it, Datbeo. Naruto replied. Come on. Let's take a lunch break. Hinata agreed and walked over to their picnic site. Reaching the comforter blanket, Naruto reached down and retrieved both his and Hinata's towels. The pair dried themselves up before sitting on their comforter blanket together. This is great, Naruto said happily, the best hooky I ever played. For what it's worth, Hinata said as she got their lunches out from her basket, I'm happy I decided to follow along with you. I know, Naruto agreed, because you're my girl. Naruto smacked his mouth shut, realizing what came out of his mouth. By this time, Hinata herself was shocked and surprised by Naruto's declaration, and the color on her face testified to that. Stupid. Naruto mentally berated, why did you have to say something so cheesy like that? I'm Naruto-kun's girl, Hinata thought excitedly. Naruto-kun called me his girl. Does that mean that I'm his girlfriend officially now? Naruto was about to say something when. Naruto-kun, Hinata asked hesitantly with hope present in her voice. Do you, really think of me, as, your girl? Naruto sighed, seeing no point in cover it up. Hinata-chan, Naruto said, I know that we're close friends and have been for a few years now. I would be lying if I said that there weren't times I wish we could be more than just friends. To be honest, I always wanted to ask you to be my girlfriend, but back then I never worked up the courage to do so in spite of that fact that I knew you always liked me. Hinata felt her heart beating hard and racing with anticipation and hope. Even if they did get caught and in trouble playing hooky later, for Hinata, it would be worth it if her expectations for what Naruto was about to ask her came true. Hinata-chan, Naruto asked, will you be my girlfriend? Hinata didn't quite hear him clearly as he asked the question too quickly with his words blurred today. Huh, Hinata muttered. Seeing his mistake, Naruto corrected himself and asked again, will you be my girlfriend? For Hinata, it was like Naruto proposed to her. She couldn't remember the last time she was this happy. I'd love to, Hinata accepted happily with a few joyful tears coming down her face. Yada. Naruto cheered excitedly before embracing an equally happy Hinata, whose face burned hotly from feeling Naruto's body against her skin. Naruto too blushed upon feeling Hinata's soft body and skin against his. He had to pull away, fearing his perverted nature would get the better of him. This has been the best day of my life, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as she passed Naruto his sandwich. Best day of your life so far, Naruto grinned as he and Hinata ate lunch together as an official couple for the first time. Later that day, at the academy, lunch break was over and Naruto was walking down the hallway mumbling about how he just narrowly passed his exam a while ago. It wasn't a perfect grade like Sasuke, but that was the appearance he wanted to accomplish. After all, he had to maintain his facade as the dead last of his class. Soon though, Naruto looked to see Mizuki, one of the Chunin Academy senseis, making his way over to him. Hey Naruto, Mizuki greeted with a friendly tone. Naruto smiled and greeted, hello Mizuki sensei. I heard from Iruka that you actually passed your test, Mizuki said, even though it was only by so much from what he told me. Hey, Naruto replied, I passed and that's all that matters. It's just another stepping stone in my quest to be Hokage someday. I know, Mizuki said, you told me and everyone this before. You are aware that the Genin exams will be held tomorrow, yes? Of course, Naruto said, scratching the back of his head. I didn't forget. Though I hate to admit that it'll be my third attempt at trying to pass that test again. You shouldn't worry too much, Naruto, Mizuki encouraged. I'm sure you'll do better and pass this time around. You really believe I stand a chance? Naruto asked. You know Iruka sensei isn't the forgiving type when it comes to those exams. Perhaps not, Mizuki agreed, but don't sell yourself short yet. Just give it your all and I'm sure that'll be enough for you to pass and finally become one of Konoha's genins. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Mizuki sensei, Naruto smiled. Just you wait. I'll pass with flying colors. Datbeo. With that said, Naruto left Mizuki alone in the hallway and made his way to his next destination. Do you really believe in Naruto-kun being able to pass and become a genin? Hinata asked, coming out from hiding behind a nearby staircase. Mizuki turned and found Hinata approaching him. Hinata, Mizuki greeted. How long were you there? I was heading back to class when I heard you encouraging Naruto-kun to do his very best in next week's genin exams, Hinata explained. Very few believes Naruto can pull it off and achieve his goal in becoming genin. Well, Mizuki said, he's no prodigy like Sasuke or your cousin Neji, he doesn't have book smarts like your classmate Sakura. But he has a strong drive that keeps him going regardless of his many failings. You shouldn't worry yourself too much about him, Hinata, Shikamaru, age 13, said as he and Choji, age 13, approached her from behind. It's just troublesome to do so. Whether or not he passes the genin exams this time around depends entirely on his performance, much more so than his perseverance, regardless how admirable his determination is. Hinata sighed lowly, knowing that Shikamaru was right in his statement. You didn't have to be that harsh about it, Shikamaru, Choji said. She's obviously concerned for her friend's career as a future ninja. Well, Shikamaru replied, I just don't want Hinata to build up any false hopes or have too high of expectations for what might or might not happen. It's the sad reality of things in this life we live in. You truly are a source for comfort, Choji remarked cynically. As much as I'd like for us to stick around and discuss Naruto's uncertain future, Mizuki said, I think it would be best if the three of you hurried on your way back to class. Iruka would be rather upset with me if he believes me to be the reason for why you guys are late for his class. Nodding, the three hurried on their way back to class. 13 minutes later, all of the students were conversing with each other while waiting for Iruka to enter the classroom. A minute later, sorry for the delay. I got held up taking care of something at the last minute, Iruka apologized as he entered the classroom. Everyone gradually quieted down as he went over to his desk. Everyone's back, I see, Iruka said as he stood behind his desk and looked around and found that everyone was sitting at their seats. Almost everyone. Has anyone seen Naruto? Iruka asked with annoyance clearly present in his tone. Maybe he decided to drop out and start the class all over, one of the students remarked. Some of the students snickered, which only served to annoy Iruka further. What are you up to now, Naruto-kun? Hinata wondered. An hour later, at the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen was relaxing in his private study, not having to do so much paperwork. He decided to take the time to practice his calligraphy as a means to enjoy his current free time. Soon though, his once free time was interrupted. Hokage-sama. Hiruzen sighed, seeing that his once peaceful day was going to end all but peacefully. Hokage-sama. Come quickly. It's an emergency. Two chunins ran into his private study as he turned to face them. What now? Hiruzen asked with annoyance in his voice. Is Naruto causing trouble again? It's the Hokage monument, one of the chunin said. He's vandalizing it with paint, even now as we speak. Hiruzen sighed again as he puffed out some from his tobacco pipe. Having no other choice, he got up and placed on his Hokage robes and had before making his way to the roof of the Hokage Tower. Upon arriving with a few over chunins and junins, they found Naruto on one of the scaffold brazenly painting and writing large graffiti all over the monument. On Senju Hashirama's head, who was also known as the Shodai, there was a painting of the Senju clan seal insignia and a spiral painted next to it. And all over the Shodai's face were paintings of spirals. On Senju Tobirama's face, once known as Nadaime, were graffiti writings that blatantly stated, never scored, celibate, and never peeped. On Hiruzen's head, there was red paint drawn down both ends of his nose with a blush that was painting on his cheeks. His face also had graffiti writings that said, pervy old monkey. On Namikaze Minato's face, once known as Yondaime, were black whisker markings painted on his cheeks with a statement that said, the Uzumaki will rise and become the second coming of Yondaime, and surpass all of the previous Hokages. By this time, everyone in the village was seeing the stunt. Naruto was pulling in front of everyone. The question was, how was he able to do so without anyone finding out up until now? Naruto, one of the ninjas on the Hokage Tower, yelled, what the hell do you think you're doing? You blind stupid. Naruto yelled back with a large cheese smile, I'm giving this old monument a new makeover. It's been in great need of one and I'm just the one to deliver it. You have any idea how much trouble you're in? Another ninja yelled. Like that would stop me. Naruto retorted with grin never leaving his face. It's more fun doing this here than listening to any crappy lecture I get from Iruka-sensei. As if on cue, Iruka appeared on the roof of the tower where Sandame and the other ninjas were. Hokage-sama, Iruka said with a bow, 1,000 apologies. Naruto was reported missing and not returned to class this early this afternoon and I've been looking all over for him. It's only now that I've found him committing this act of vandalism while cutting class. You and everyone else I might add, Hiruzen replied calmly. Let me deal with this, Iruka said as he turned and looked up at Naruto. Naruto turned and looked down at Iruka staring back in him angrily. You're in a world of trouble for cutting class again and vandalizing the Hokage monument. Catch me first. Naruto laughed as he leapt off the scaffold with the cans of paint in hand and made his way to the surface from scaffold to scaffold. Iruka and the other ninjas took to flight to chase after Naruto. Reaching the streets, Naruto started running from the ninjas after him, while still holding the cans of paint. Get back here, Naruto. One the ninjas ordered. Naruto just laughed and continued running while hopping over fences of backyards, gardens and alleys. Getting to one alley, the group of ninja lost sight of him. Where did that scornful child go? The lead Junin asked aloud. They looked around and saw Naruto nowhere in sight. Just then, paint fell and spilled over them from above. Suckers, Naruto laughed before tossing the emptied cans of paint at them and running off. Damn you, Kyuubi Gaki, one of the Junins cursed. Naruto ran off with the same ninjas after him. A minute later, he turned. He cornered to his right and hid behind another, his camouflaging cloak, blending in with the wall as the paint-covered ninjas ran and passed him by with realizing it. Get back here, the lead Junin ordered. Naruto grinned victoriously, removing the camouflaging cloak off himself, and said, that was so easy. A second later, hey Naruto, Iruka screamed from behind. Naruto. The blonde jumped and turned to see Iruka. The hell? Naruto yelled, how do you be finding me? Never mind that, Iruka retorted, you got a lot of nerve cutting my class again. By now that shouldn't come as a surprise, Naruto remarked. Iruka's right eye started twitching as he felt the urge to repeatedly smack Naruto across the head build up. I'll deal with you being punishment later, Iruka stated. Right now I have a class to teach and like it or not you're coming with me. Before Naruto could argue, Iruka grabbed and dragged Naruto back to academy. Meanwhile, Hinata and Naruto were enjoying a nice swim together in the river when they decided that it was time to clean up and return back. The fact that their cage bushins didn't dispelling told them that everything was going good so far. This was the most fun I had in a long time, Hinata smiled. Thanks for a lovely day, Naruto-kun. I aim to please, my moon's eye spring rabbit, Naruto grinned as he approached and stood in front of her. The water level they were standing in was a few inches beneath their waists. He stood facing her. Hinata felt heat building up within her being as Naruto looked ready to do what she believed he was going to do with the roaring waterfall ever so audible in the background. No way, Hinata thought. Is he really going to? I mean, I did agree to become his girlfriend and. Naruto felt surprisingly nervous for what he desired to do at this point. Idiot. Naruto's mind screamed, just kiss her already. She wants this as much as you do. So go for it. Seeing the looking on his face, Hinata asked, Naruto-kun, are you Alrig? Hinata was cut off when Naruto suddenly embraced and kissed her on her lips for the very first time. Her eyes widened from both shock and excitement when she felt Naruto's lips against hers. He's kissing me. Hinata screamed happily in her mind. I'm being held and kissed by Naruto-kun. She felt like she was in a dream. Everything seemed too good to be true. That thought, however, was knocked to the side when she felt Naruto's arms wrapped around her waist and held her a little tighter to his still wet figure. While fighting the urge to faint, Hinata embraced and wrapped her arms around Naruto's neck and returned the kiss with the same amount of passion as their kiss grew deeper with their tongues waltzing together. Despite how cold the water was, Hinata felt completely warm within herself. For Naruto, It was an amazing experience. He read from many Ika Ika Paradise books how great kissing a beautiful girl was and even what styles of kissing were used, one of which he was trying out and using. But he never in his life thought it would be and feel this good. On the same note though, it took every bit of self-control he had within himself to keep from getting carried away with the position he was in with Hinata, as he was starting to feel more hormonal than he counted on. The feeling of her smooth and wet body against his was driving him mad, and he was so tempted to do a little more. However, not wanting ruin the best moment he was having with his new girlfriend, Naruto exercised self-restraint. It wasn't until after another 4 minutes when the couple finally, but reluctantly, pulled their lips away from each other in order to catch their breaths. Wow! Naruto exclaimed with a blush of his own on his face, so that's how you taste like Naruto-kun. Hinata giggled before resting her head on his shoulder with her arms still wrapped around his neck. This was a perfect day. You made me so happy. Thank you. No, Hinata. Naruto said, thank you. If anything, I don't deserve a maiden as beautiful and elegant as you. Too bad this moment can't last longer. We have to go back and soon. I know, Hinata admitted with disappointment present in her tone, but let's bask in this for just another minute. Naruto agreed as he continued to hold Hinata in his arms. Soon though, the couple made moves to clean themselves up and return back to the village. While doing so, they had to make certain that they didn't leave any loose ends behind. 20 minutes later, back at the academy, everyone was standing online in class performing a henge test Iruka had everyone do on account of Naruto cutting class in the middle of the day. Everyone but Hinata gave hateful glares at Naruto, but he simply shrugged them off and told everyone that he didn't give a damn. Soon though, Naruto, being last in line, went up next and was told to do a henge. Grinning, Naruto gathered some of his reserved chakra and performed his jutsu as he burst into a cloud of smoke. When the smoke cleared, Iruka-sensei, Naruto said in with an arousal tone as the young woman he transformed into with both hands on both with very little smoke cover her. Can you give me a more pleasurable form of examination please? Or would you prefer to watch while I perform it myself? Gawking at the young female, Naruto turned into with what was spoken. Iruka, Sasuke and the other males present flew backwards from nasal blood loss. Naruto changed back and burst into a fit of laughter. Hinata shook her head with closed eyes at Naruto's performance, while the rest of the girls in class were seething bloodlust at Naruto, especially for the irritating fact that he could still get that kind of reaction from Sasuke. That was so easy. Naruto, laughing, it's so fun knocking you guys out like this. Don't use that absurd hentai jutsu in my class and learn to take me more serious. Iruka yelled at Naruto, in a fit of rage after regaining consciousness faster than Naruto expected. After a few moments, all of the other boys woke up and were unhappy about how Naruto caught them all off guard again. The rest of you may go home now, Iruka said. Naruto, stick around. You're not off the hook, not after the stunt you pulled on the monument. All of the other students got their things and left the class. Sasuke turned and gave Naruto a hate-filled death glare. Damn you, Naruto, Sasuke thought angrily, you caught me off guard with your Warok no Jutsu again and made me look like a fool in front of Hinata, again. Do you miss Naruto-chan, Sasuke-kun? Naruto mocked with a look that spelled trouble. Shall I arrange for you to see her again? I can if that's what you want. The result was instantaneous as Iruka smacked Naruto hard across the head. By this time, Hiba, Choji and Shikamaru were holding their guts while laughing their asses off at the scene between Naruto, Sasuke and Iruka. Knock it off, Naruto, Iruka berated. Naruto rubbed the spot where Iruka smacked him. Damn it, sensei, Naruto yelled. Lighten up. I was only joking. Naruto-kun, Hinata sighed with her eyes closed. I'm going to seriously hurt Naruto one of these days, Sakura growled. Get in line, forehead, Ino remarked while radiating the same amount of bloodlust and malice. Later, Naruto and Hinata returned back to Konoha undetected and stood on the off of one of the houses Naruto shushinto with Hinata being carried bridal style in his arms. Naruto was about to say something when Naruto-kun Hinata said as she pointed and directed Naruto's attention to the defaced monument. Clearly something has taken place during our absence from the village. Naruto looked to see what his girlfriend was talking about. Upon seeing the monument, "What the hell?" Naruto remarked after seeing the mess it was in. "When did this?" Just then memories came flashing and merging with his mind, his and Hinata's. It was after a couple of minutes when the memory and experience flashes were absorbed and settled into their heads, giving them a more thorough understanding of the day's events inside the village walls. A minute later, Naruto started snickering before bursting into an all-out fit of laughter. "You really are such a clown, Naruto-kun," Hinata remarked. "I can't believe you did all this. But you hold affections for me anyway." Naruto grinned before his moved closer and kissed Hinata on her lips while still carrying her. Enjoying this kiss, Hinata kissed him back, and just as she was getting into the mood of things. "Naruto. Ah. Damn it," Naruto muttered dejectedly, knowing how much trouble he was in after hearing the tone of Iruka's voice. Hinata climbed down off his arms and stood back on her feet. "It'll be best if you're not seen here with me," Naruto advised. "Hurry on home quickly." Hinata nodded and gave Naruto a quick peck on the lips before turning and leaping off the roof and making her way down the wall and onto the ground just seconds before Iruka appeared behind Naruto. The said blonde turned to face his angry Chunin sensei. "The hell?" Naruto yelled. "How do you be finding me? You're not escaping your punishment that easily, Naruto," Iruka said. "Let's go. You have a monument to thorough wash clean." "Just my luck," Naruto muttered lowly as he was taken away by Iruka. "Should have seen how I would get myself into trouble for cutting class and everything. I did." "You only have yourself to blame for that, Naruto," Iruka chastised. "Yuage," Naruto muttered. "Oh, the irony." Later at the Hyuga manor, Hinata was entering her clan's estate saying hello to all of the cadet branch members she passed by. They replied back to her as they took note that Hinata was considerably happy, more so than usual. Reaching her house, she removed her sandals and entered the house, making her way toward her room. Reaching her door, "Naruto is in trouble again, Nisan," Hanabi stated from behind her older sister. "I'm sure you saw what he did to the Hokage monument." "Why, yes," Hinata said meekly while instinctively putting her mask back on. "I did. I was with father at the time when we caught sight on him running from the Chunins and Junins that were covered in mixed colors of paint," Hanabi explained. "We also saw how Naruto managed to outwit and lose them without them knowing that he was still in the same spot hiding under a camouflaging cloak the entire time. The chase ended when Naruto got careless and was finally caught by your class sensei." "Was father mad?" Hinata asked as worried as possible. "Hard to say," Hanabi replied. "I couldn't read his expression or what was going through his mind at that moment. His expression was completely neutral. I will admit that I was rather impressed at how Naruto eluded the ninjas after him so skillfully long after defacing the monument underneath everyone's nose. But I still wonder what it is about Naruto that you see in him. What makes him so special to you?" I, Hinata stuttered. "Yes," Hanabi insisted, wanting to hear her sister's explanation. "I'll tell you about it someday," Hinata finally said before opening her door and hurrying inside before closing it behind her. Hanabi stood there with a frown on her face. "Damn it, Nisan," Hanabi muttered very lowly under her breath so no one would hear her. "You're still evading my questions. Is something troubling you, Hanabi-sama?" Neji asked as he appeared behind her. Hanabi turned to see the Hyuga prodigy stand and towering over her. Not the least bit intimidated, Hanabi said to her older cousin, "Nothing for you to worry about." "Does it involve Hinata-sama's close association with this Uzumaki Naruto?" Neji asked with a knowing implication. "I told you, Neji," Hanabi said, "it's not your concern." Saying nothing further, Hanabi left the scene and went about her now business. Neji turned to Hinata's door. "Failures attracts to troublemakers," Neji said. "That's the fate predestined for Hinata-sama. Nothing will change that." With that, Neji turned and went about his business. Meanwhile at the monument, "Hey Naruto," Iruka offered while sitting on top of the head representing Sandaime, "if you finish cleaning the monument in a timely manner, I'll treat you to ramen at Ichiraku." "Great." Naruto cheered with renewed enthusiasm while standing on the scaffold. "I'll have this monument clean in no time." Iruka was happy to seeing Naruto's expression change into a happier one. But deep down, Iruka still wondered what triggered Naruto to question what really happened the night Kyuubi was defeated. Iruka could only wonder. For Naruto, I may be stuck with this cleaning chore, Naruto thought, but in the long run. Naruto thought back to when he was passionately kissing a wet and soaked Hinata in the river earlier that day. His smile grew ever so wide. It was sure as hell was worth it, Naruto concluded happily, and I'll get free ramen as an added bonus too. A pregnant young woman in her early to mid-20s with long red hair wearing a beige strap dress and blue short-sleeve shirt was walking through a large house making her way into the kitchen. Entering the kitchen she came and found a blonde spiked-haired man clearly the same age as her dressed in Junin pants and shirt without his Junin vest sitting at the table in the kitchen reading a green-colored book. There was no mistake that he looked indulged in what he was reading. Minato-kun, a sweet feminine voice called out as the approaching female entered the kitchen, "We have company, Databane." The man turned to see who the figure was. Putting the book down, Minato turned to smile at the figure Kushina kindly invited inside. "Jiraiya-sensei," Minato greeted, "it's great to see you again. This book you wrote was a great read." "Yeah," Jiraiya said skeptically, "but my book didn't make that great of success on sales in the market." "That's too bad," Minato replied. "This book, The Gutsy Ninja, was really terrific. I love how the protagonist despite all oppositions kept fighting and persevering with no desire of ever giving up on anything, determined to meet success until he finally accomplished what he sought to do." "True," Jiraiya contemplated, "but I think'll things up a bit in my new books. I'm sure I'll have better success if I do that." "Still Jiraiya-sensei," Minato smiled brightly, "the lead character of this book is someone I'd like for my son to turn out as. In fact, Kushina and I were hoping we could have your permission to name our unborn son after the lead character of your book." "Are you really sure you want to do that?" Jiraiya asked in disbelief. "I mean, I only came up with that name while eating a bowl of ramen. Though if you did name your son after the character of my book, I guess that would make me his godfather, right?" "It's a beautiful name, Databane," Kushina agreed with Minato. "I'd love for our son to have and bear that name, nah." An alarm clock suddenly went off. Naruto's bedroom. Naruto groaned with the loud sound of his alarm clock going off giving him a loud wakening. "Yuage," Naruto groaned. "Aw man. I've been having one of those dreams again." Naruto stretched and looked at his alarm clock. 5:50 a.m., Naruto said, 2 hours before the academy starts and the genin exams. "That's enough time for me to clean myself and do my routine exercises." The blonde wasted no time in getting himself cleaned, dressed up and getting something to eat before. While having his breakfast, Naruto thought back to the dreams he had been having recently. Lately he started having dreams of Jiraiya, Yondaime, and a certain beautiful woman with really long red hair named Kushina who clearly was involved with Yondaime, evening being pregnant with a son for him. Strange, Naruto thought, there was no mention of Minato ever being married or that his wife was ever pregnant for him. But those dreams looked and felt so real. I was even able to smell the environment. Their voices and that of Jiraiya's, and all these other faces and voices I've been hearing in my dreams. And why I having these dreams and visions? I hope I'm not losing it. The Gutsy Ninja. I wonder if such a book exists and if Yondaime really did name his supposed son after the lead character of that book. In my dream, it was said that it was Jiraiya's first book. Things are really getting weirder in my life. And that woman Kushina, she even talked like me, Databane, or is it that I talk like? Naruto thought about the possibility of what his recent dreams could mean. No way. I mean it can't be possible. Can't it? But, what if it is? For the past number of nights Naruto started having dreams of experiences and memories that clearly weren't his own. Since then he had been trying to make sense of what was happening to him. He had yet to tell Hinata about it, knowing that she too wouldn't be able to make sense of it at all either. For the time being, Naruto decided to deal and handle the matter on his own without getting others involved. Putting that matter off to the side for now, Naruto got up from his seat and made his out through the balcony after closing the door behind him. Leaping off the balcony, Naruto ran up the walls of a nearby building and started leaping from roof to his next destination. Meanwhile, Hinata was up and ready to leave. She was at the front entrance putting her sandals on when. "You're on your way out to the academy this early in the morning, Hinata," Hiyashi said as he approached and stood behind her. Hinata, having placed her sandals on, turned to her father. Yes, Hinata replied. Today is the Genin exams, and I want to be at my best for when I take them today, father. After today, when I said the exams, and received my head protector bearing our village's crest, I will be acknowledged as an adult, not a child. I'm leaving early so I can go and be better prepare myself physically and mentally before I earn and take my place among the ranks of the ninjas of our community. Hiyashi nodded in approval. You spoke like a true heiress, Hinata. Very well then. I'll allow you to leave and prepare for the Genin exams. Thank you, father, Hinata said before turned and leaving the house. Just as she was about to go through the door. When you see Naruto, Hiyashi said with a surprisingly serious tone, deliver this message for me. What message, father? Hinata asked a bit worriedly. Tell him that he too better not fail the Genin exams, Hiyashi said. Inform him that his failure will reflect badly on both you and me. How could his supposed failure reflect poorly on you, father? Hinata asked, wanting to know where her father was going with what he was saying. I allowed him to associate with you and our clan over the years, and never once did I object to him being seen with us despite his mischievous, yet entertaining actions towards the ninjas and the rest of the populace. The way I've seen him handle and escape the various ranked ninjas he targets with his infamous pranks makes it very clear that Naruto has potential to be a most promising ninja if his skills in setting traps and being an escape artist can be properly honed and strengthened. And I've seen how your time with him has strengthened you too, Hinata, and I don't need my Byakugan to see that. Though there's still room for improvement. Hinata had to fight hard to keep a calm composure. She never heard her father talk so highly of Naruto before, nor had she heard her father gave her such needed encouragement. She felt so very happy and excited, and her confidence was only growing stronger as a result. Part of her even wanted to run up and hug her father for just those words alone. Hiyashi cleared his throat and returned back his normal demeanor. Just tell Naruto to do his best and don't mention to him what I said to you just now. Turned and walked off. I don't want him thinking that I'm going soft. I'm not the Sandaime Hokage. Hinata stifled a giggle that escaped from her mouth. It was more than evident that her father had already taken a liking to Naruto over the years ago, though he didn't want Naruto to know that, at least for now. With a new vigor, Hinata made her way out of her clan's estate and hurried to her next destination. A little later, Naruto was sitting on top of the Hokage monument, on the head that represented Yondaime. Presently, he was in a meditating stance as he was facing and watching the gradually rising sun ascending over the horizon of Konoha, which slowly brightened the darkened skies. As he sat there, another figure quietly approached him from behind. Reaching him, the figure knelt down and planted a kiss on his right cheek. Naruto's eyes snapped open to see a smiling Hinata facing him. Good morning, my moon's eye spring rabbit, Naruto greeted as he pulled Hinata down onto his lap and kissed her hotly. The Hyuga heiress embraced and kissed Naruto back with the same amount of passion. A minute later, they reluctantly pulled their lips away to catch their breaths. Did you wait long for me? Hinata asked. Not really, Naruto said. Waiting for you never takes long at all, because you'll always chase after me, wanting to overtake me. Naruto-kun, Hinata giggled as she snuggled deeper into his embrace before resting her head on his left shoulder. Father gave me a serious message that he wanted me to relay to you, Hinata said with a collective tone. Curious, Naruto asked, what did he say? Don't fail the Genin exams, Hinata answered. He made it clear that your failure will reflect poorly on both him and me. I'm touched. Naruto grinned widely. Looks like your old man is taking a liking to me as part of the family. I'd hate to see what he'd do if you actually do fail the Genin exams today, Naruto-kun, Hinata remarked. I know neither of us would like what he'd do. With everything we trained and went through over the years, Naruto said, I'd be ashamed if I actually failed for real. You did before, Hinata pointed out as she cut him off. A year ago, in fact. Naruto's happy expression turned into a frown upon being reminded of last's event when he attempted the Genin exams a little after Neji's class passed the exams. The other jutsus Naruto was able to perform, but his worst jutsu, creating a basic bushin, cost him his promotion to Genin. You still have trouble creating a simple bushin, Hinata pointed out. Even with your special seals, you put out a lot of chakra. I know, Naruto sighed and acknowledged. Iruka-sensei will fail you again just for that alone, Hinata said with concern. You saw that for yourself last year when you attempted to become a genin a year earlier, and he was rather adamant about not allowing you to become a genin because of that. His reasoning is senseless, Naruto remarked. I've seen others become genins despite handicaps worse than my own, like your cousin's teammate, the one called Rock Lee. He can't use ninjutsu, and yet that handicap didn't prevent him from becoming a genin. And if Iruka-sensei thinks he can hold me back again from becoming a genin because of my inborn handicap, I'll just kick his in front of everyone, consequences be damned. Just promise that you'll do your best and become a genin with me, Hinata requested. Don't worry, Naruto assured. Besides, I already have a plan in passing the exams this time. Trust me, I learned from last year's blunder and I won't make the same mistake twice. Just leave it to me. Confident in his words, Hinata relaxed and watched the sunrise with him while still sitting on his lap and in his embrace. Shouldn't we be preparing for the exams, my moon's eye spring rabbit? Naruto asked. Being here with you like this for moral support is all the preparation I need, Hinata replied. I'm confident that we'll become genins together. Naruto leaned down and kissed her again. Later, everyone was making their way to the academy. The senior class was up and ready for the genin exams and confident in passing and becoming full-fledged ninjas. Some had visions of prestige and exciting thrill-filled adventures, while others thought that after becoming ninjas they'll earn the approval, liking and acknowledgement of others or of one Uchiha in particular. Well, for such ones, reality was going to prove to be a cruel master and teacher. Soon, Hinata and Naruto entered the class hand in hand with their fingers entwined together. Sasuke caught sight of them like everyone else, and the sight of them being together and displaying such irrefutable closeness had always left a displeased frown on Sasuke's face. I know that they're real close, Sasuke admitted to himself, but that doesn't mean that I don't stand a chance. I can still fight to gain and win her acceptance and acknowledgement of me. It's only a matter of time before she opens her eyes and sees the truth about the dobi. A few of the girls in class saw how Sasuke was eyeing Hinata, and it served to sadden them to see how Sasuke never once gave them such a look. Some wanted to hate Hinata for it, but they all knew that Hinata didn't do anything to cause Sasuke to like her that much, and everyone knew that the Hyuga heiress only had eyes on the dead last of their class for reasons they and everyone else couldn't understand. Shikamaru looked at Sasuke and saw the look in his contemplating expression. Troublesome, Shikamaru commented with Choji. Shino and Kiba gather next to him. Nothing has changed with him. He still has eyes solely on the Hyuga heiress. Ironic really, Shino remarked, how all these girls are willing to do anything for Sasuke's attention while the one girl he has his sights on wishes for none of it. Naruto and Hinata took their seats next to each other. The four boys looked to see Sasuke move from his seat and head over to where Hinata and Naruto were. This ought to be interesting, Kiba remarked. Hinata, Sasuke greeted. Today begins the genin exams. I trust that you're prepared for them. Why yes, Sasuke-san, Hinata replied. I'm confident in my abilities to pass. I was told that after becoming genins, Sasuke explained, that all of us will be divided into teams. Hopefully we'll be part of same team with whoever else will be on our team. If we're paired together, I'll be sure to help you get stronger and improve, and likewise you can help me as we advance together. Funny Sasuke-kun, Naruto retorted mockingly. I was hoping for the same thing too. The only difference is that I'll be sure to keep you in your place and to keep your hands off. I knew this would be interesting, Kiba remarked as Naruto and Sasuke gave dirty looks to each other. Some in the class were watching the scene between the two boys. It is true though, Naruto admitted, that Hinata-chan won't end up being on the same team with me. Naruto had already explained to her the reasons behind why they wouldn't be paired on the same genin team. She accepted it despite her disappointment. Sasuke grinned, believing that Naruto was willing to admit defeat before the Uchiha could capitalize on it. But what's also true, Naruto continued, is that she won't end up being on the same team with you either, Tem. Of that I'm most certain. What bothered the others in class that were listening to their conversation was how Naruto knew about the things he was talking about. Still, with a confident smirk, Sasuke replied, we'll see about that dobi. There's nothing to see to, Naruto said. I already told you it's not going to happen, and I know why it's not going to. And what possible reasons could there be? Sasuke asked. Hinata and I are both from clans with strong dojutsus. A team with both her and myself together would be rather formidable. What reason could there be that she and I wouldn't be paired together? Naruto smiled. I could tell you, but I think it'll be more fun for you and everyone else to find out why after the Genin exams are over when the team pairing begins. That way, I can have the sweet memory of seeing that look on your face when you're forced to acknowledge that everything I told you today was true. There was no mistake that Naruto knew something about the Genin pairing system that he refused to tell everyone about. It irritated Sasuke to no end that Naruto somehow knew that neither he nor Naruto himself was going to be paired with Hinata on their team. Regardless, Sasuke inwardly kept some line of hope open that Naruto would be proven wrong. A minute later, Iruka entered the class. That signaled for everyone to take their seats. Good morning everyone, Iruka greeted. Today will prove to be one of the most important days of your life. Very soon all of you will be taking the Genin exams, and upon passing you all will be taking the first step in establishing your shinobi careers as the defenders of our village. I know many of you are excited about this, but I advise all of you take this day very serious. The Genin exams will consist of a couple of exams testing your skills that will be given by both Mizuki and myself. If you fail, don't take it that you didn't have what it took to become full-fledged shinobis, but rather take that failure as a learning experience to help you grow stronger and improve from before. That's cool and all, Iruka-sensei, Naruto replied, but can we get the Genin exams started already? In a hurry to fail the Genin exams again, Naruto, Hiba taunted, causing the others in the class to snicker while other laughed. Go chase a cat, you sniffing mutt, Naruto retorted. What was that? Hiba retorted back. That's enough out of you two, Iruka said sternly. I will not condone this kind of behavior during the Genin exams. Act the part as profession ninja of Konoha or I'll disqualify you both. Got it. Neither boys said anything but gave a small nod. Now let's get this exam started, Iruka said. A long while later, after everyone had passed the written portion of the Genin exams, then came the practical part of it. Naruto stood online and waited for his turn after everyone else went. Typical, Naruto muttered to himself, being made to go last again. Don't worry Naruto-kun, Hinata assured, wearing her new head protector around her neck. Your turn will soon come up and you'll be given a shot to pass the Genin exams this time around. Okay Naruto, Iruka said after arriving at Naruto's name. Here I go, Naruto grinned as he stepped forward. Being the last one, everyone watched and waited to see how Naruto would do this time around. Some expected him to fail again and repeat the class with Iruka. Much to Iruka's surprise, everyone in his class so far passed the exam, and of course Sasuke passed the exam with a flawless score. Now Naruto, Iruka instructed, perform Kawarimi, Henjin Bushin no Jutsu. And if you so much as attempt the Waroke no Jutsu of yours, I'll instantly fail you. This is stupid, Naruto complained. You always have me attempt a jutsu that you yourself know I can't perform. And little to no help was offered to help me in that regard. Naruto, Iruka instructed, these are basic jutsus that those of your level should have the capability to execute. There are other jutsus that far more advanced and complex than these, and if you can't even perform the basic types at your current level, you have no ability to use the more advanced versions. Thus your career as a ninja will never leave the floor, one student interjected. If it ever starts at all, another mocked. Quiet, Iruka rebuked. I don't recall asking for any of your input on the matter. Don't let the fact that the rest of you are now genins go to your heads. Being ninjas now mean that you're no longer looked at as children but as adults of this village, and all of you can now be held accountable before the Hokage himself on any charges brought up against you, even by me. That means that you all can be given judicial judgment and sentenced by the Hokage if you're found guilty of whatever charges were raised against you. Is that understood? Needless to say, everyone gulped and nodded, seeing the full weight of Iruka's words. A sudden reality that they were now forced to acknowledge. Naruto and Hinata were already aware of that fact, so there was no point in them showing the same expression of shock from Iruka's truthful words. Turning back to Naruto. Now Naruto, Iruka said, perform the jutsus as instructed. I got a better idea, Naruto said, Bushin number jutsu is ineffective for me. Therefore, I'll resort to using something else in its place. And I'll combine that with henge. Puzzled, Iruka asked, what are you? Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Naruto said, henge. A burst of white smoke came forth from Naruto, temporarily blocking everyone's sight. When the smoke finally cleared, Everyone saw standing in front of the class Hinata and Sakura with Sasuke standing off to the side as though he wasn't paying attention to them. What the? Iruka and Mizuki said simultaneously. Everyone looked in front of them class to see what was going on. Kage Bushin no Jutsu, Shikamaru repeated. I never heard of such a jutsu before. Neither have I, Choji added. That's because it's a B-class Junin level kinjutsu, Iruka explained, and unlike Bushin no Jutsu, Kage Bushin no Jutsu creates solid clones with their own chakra coil systems. But how and when did Naruto learn it? Repeat that again, Sasuke requested as though what he heard was a lie, a B-class Junin level kinjutsu. Why weren't we ever taught that? Because to perform such a kinjutsu requires a large amount of chakra, Mizuki explained. Attempting such a jutsu without the required chakra would kill you instantly from chakra exhaustion alone. Creating just one Kage Bushin is enough to drain more than half of one's chakra. And yet the Dobi learned this jutsu, Sasuke replied in disbelief. But from whom? Ino asked. That's not important, said Hinata. From in front of the class catching everyone's attention, we ninjas are entitled to our own secrets, aren't we? And who here tells everything about ourselves and hidden abilities, Hinata looked like she was about to leave when. Hey Hinata, Sakura called out, not that I'm complaining about you not going after my Sasuke-kun, but I must ask something that I'd like to understand from you. And what might that be? Hinata asked innocently. What is it that you could possibly see in Naruto that you don't see in Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked. I mean, Sasuke-kun is a born genius, the top student in our class and is the total opposite of Naruto in a whole bunch of stuff. Naruto-kun does have his good points, Sakura-san, Hinata defended. I mean he. Let's be real, Hinata. Sakura cut her off with an unconvinced tone. Naruto is a known troublemaker and he isn't all that bright. Just look at last year's event when he failed the Genin exams in his attempt to graduate a year early before the rest of us. I bet if Sasuke-kun attempted to do what Naruto did he would have passed and graduated. But wouldn't that mean that he would have become a genin and not in class with you anymore? Hinata pointed out. Sakura was caught off guard by Hinata's words and logic, but she didn't let that deter her. Sasuke, in the meantime, was off to the side, seemingly not paying attention to the girls' conversation. Everyone in the class was watching this mock scene of Hinata and Sakura play out, believing that a conversation like this was actually possible considering the characteristics of both girls and Sasuke. Some in the class were snickering at how Naruto was making fun of himself while having his transformed clones play the roles of Hinata, Sakura and Sasuke most convincingly. Honestly, Iruka admitted under his breath, I can see this happening. One would actually think that it was actually those three in front of the class, Shino comment. I know, Ino agreed. Naruto got forehead girls' behavior down packed to the T. At least Naruto is willing to admit that Sasuke-kun is better than he is, one girl remarked. I wouldn't say that, Shikamaru replied in Naruto's defense. Combining Kage Bushin with Henge is no easy feat. If it were anyone else in this class, we'd either be unconscious or dead from exhausting all of our chakra. Sasuke grunted in front of the class as he turned to face the class. What would you know, Shikamaru? The Dobi can't even do a simple Bushin no Jutsu, let alone pass any of Iruka-sensei's exams. Quote. Like Sasuke-kun said, Sakura added, when it comes to skills, smarts, abilities and physique, Sasuke-kun is gifted in practically everything. I wouldn't agree with you on that, Sakura-san, Hinata interjected. There are special things that Naruto-kun is surprisingly endowed with, other than massive stamina, chakra and a strong will to never give up. That's all that the Dobi has going for him, Sasuke replied. I can't see what's so special about those things. You're wrong, Hinata defended before a hot blush appeared on her face. Naruto-kun is endowed in a most unique way that far exceeds you, Sasuke. Of this, I'm most certain. How can you be, Hinata? Sakura asked. How can you be so sure and confident in what you're saying? That's because, Hinata said with a small smile, I have Byakugan. With that, Hinata turned and exited the class, leaving Sakura and Sasuke to that about what they just heard. It wasn't long until they read between the lines. Because she has Byakuga. Huh. Sakura retorted with a contorted expression. Hey, wait a minute. Come back here. What you implying about my Sasuke-kun? Sakura ran out of the room in pursuit of Hinata, leaving Sasuke to stand there in utter disbelief at what Hinata was saying. By this time, all of the boys except Sasuke were in tears laughing at the implications of Hinata's words. Shino, though not among the laughing boys, had raised eyebrows upon understanding the situation being played out. Sasuke, however, was seething in rage and the girls didn't know what to think. But it didn't end there. Sasuke looked down at his pants and pulled both the front of it and his underwear open enough for him to take a good look at his package with a questionable facial expression. This caused the other boys in class to laugh harder. Some had doubled over by this point and others were banging their desks with their fists from the sheer intensity of their laughter. Releasing his pants and underwear, Sasuke went over to the desk and picked up a 1-foot ruler that was resting on top of the desk. I'm going to go measure it, Sasuke decided as he turned and exited the class with the ruler in hand. That caused some of the still laughing boys to fall off their seats as their laughter grew louder. Kiba, Choji, Shikamaru and a few others were struggling to catch their breaths as their sides started hurting from the amount of laughter coming out of them. The girls turned to look at Sasuke and saw the look of intense anger fuming from his expression. Hinata, one of the girls asked in bewilderment, as what was said really true about Sasuke-kun. Hinata sighed at the stunt Naruto just pulled. I never pulled such a stunt. Therefore I have no knowledge of Sasuke's anatomy. Hinata though was more annoyed that her boyfriend used her bloodline limit as reference to deliver the brutal punch line to Sasuke's pride. Still, the same girl insisted, do you think you can do me a favor and see if Sasuke-kun is really packing a nice size package? Please, Hinata replied with a tone that showed both annoyance and disinterest, don't ask me to use my bloodline for something like that. Just then, Naruto walked into the class and saw the scene before him. Hey, Naruto asked acting like he wasn't aware of anything that took place in class, what did I miss? Why is everyone laughing? Naruto looked at Sasuke and, murder, was the look Sasuke gave him. What's wrong with you Sasuke? Naruto asked as if he was clueless to the situation, what's with that damn look you're giving me? By the way, I found this ruler in the bathroom. I didn't know what you were using it for after you left it there on the sink but I made sure to thoroughly wash it before bringing it back to you. I'll kill you, Sakura screeched with massive bloodlust as she, Ino and several other girls rushed at Naruto. Everyone cringed at the vicious beating Naruto was getting. Damn, Kiba replied calming down from his long laughter, I hadn't had a good laugh like that in a long time. But I'd hate to be in Naruto's shoes right now receiving the girl's monstrous rage and beating. Me too, a voice replied from behind. Everyone turned to see Naruto standing behind them with his hands in his pocket. I don't think that practice dummy deserves such vicious brutality from our supposed future kunoichis, Naruto remarked. Sakura and the other girls looked to see that the Naruto they were beating up was in fact a life-size target practice dummy dressed in the same clothes as Naruto. But an added feature to this dummy was a note taped on its chest that read, Fangirl Anger Release Management Plushie. I switched and substituted with that dummy seconds before the girls a chance to hit me. Naruto grinned with a huge smile on his face, their reaction was so predictable. He's mocking us and Sasuke-kun, Ino growled as she threw the dummy to the floor. You girls only have yourselves to blame for letting your guards down and becoming easy targets for me, Naruto replied. Mizuki was stifling his own laughter while Iruka was shaking his head at everything that played out. Naruto in the meantime went over and gave a folded note to Hinata. Looking at the note, Hinata opened and read the note to herself. Her face became darkened red upon reading the poetry Naruto wrote. In the note, it read, I passed all of Iruka-sensei's stupid tests. All the while dreaming of your splendid. Knowing that you above all else have the hottest. Let's soon meet up after class. Naruto-kun, Hinata remarked. What am I going to do with you? I can give you some suggestions, Naruto replied with his smile turning perverted with the blush on Hinata's face turning darker. A piece of chalk was thrown at Naruto's direction, hitting him upside the head. Damn it Iruka-sensei. Naruto cursed as he rubbed his head. That was uncalled for. Sasuke scowled at how Naruto openly flirted with Hinata in front of everyone moments after pulling that stunt that insulted him and Sakura, but more so him he felt. That's enough jokes out of you, Naruto, Iruka said with his anything but amused frown ever present on his face. Despite the crude jokes behind your performance, you performed the required jutsus and surprisingly a B-class kinjutsu that no one else in this class can execute. No one else but Hinata-chan, Naruto thought to himself. What I'd like to know is how you learned that jutsu, Naruto, Sasuke asked. We're ninjas, Naruto replied, and we're entitled to keep certain secrets to ourselves while keeping certain bodies of people in the dark about things. It's what gives us our trump cards in the shinobi world. Therefore, I'm not obligated to tell any of you anything. Sasuke wasn't pleased to hear that from him as he wanted to find out about how Naruto was able to secretly learn and master a Junin-level kinjutsu. You came a long way, Naruto, Iruka said with a brotherly smile, and you made very good improvements. You passed. Iruka handed Naruto his head protector and watched as Naruto tied it around his head with pride. Everyone was expecting Naruto to start running and jumping around the room like an idiot, but that didn't happen. This is sweet, Naruto cheered. This is just another accomplished milestone in fulfilling my dreams of becoming Hokage. You did it, Naruto-kun, Hinata smiled, just like I knew you could. Tell that to your old man when we see him later, Hinata-chan, Naruto grinned. Everyone back to your seats please, Iruka instructed. Sakura and the other girls did as they were told while shooting glares at Naruto's direction. Mizuki went and retrieved the practice dummy and set it aside at the front left corner of the classroom. As of today, Iruka said, you all are official genins, full-fledged ninjas of our village. With this position, no one in the shinobi world will look or regard you as children but as adults, and with that, you all will be treated as such. Take your role and responsibilities as ninjas serious as you all now represent our village in its entirety. Uchiha Sasuke, being the top student and graduate, is hereby this graduating class's Rookie of the Year. Uzumaki Naruto, being our student with the lowest grades, is this graduating class's dead last. Whatever. Naruto shrugged, such titles mean nothing to me. How course someone like you would say that, one of the girls retorted, but I bet you'd be acting different if you were elected to be our class's Rookie of the Year. Quiet, Iruka berated, both of you. Despite the difference in academic statuses, all of you are still in the same ninja ranks, and it'll be up to all of you individually to climb the ninja ranks and improve as you move up in your careers. But as for today, congratulations on your success in becoming the new additions to our ninja force. Later, as everyone was leaving the classroom, Naruto, Mizuki requested, may I have a minute of your time with you? Sure, Mizuki-sensei. Naruto complied before turning to Hinata, I'll catch up with you. I'm sure I won't take long. Alright, Hinata said, I'll be outside waiting for you. With that, Hinata left with the rest of the class. Come with me, Naruto, Mizuki instructed as he led Naruto to the teacher's lounge. Upon entering, they found the room empty. The two went in and closed the door behind them. So what's the deal, Mizuki-sensei? Naruto asked. First off, Mizuki started, I want to say that you did well in your performance during the Genin exams and passing all of the required tests. I was sure you passed this time in spite of Iruka's doubts about it. Hey, I learned from my past mistakes, Naruto replied. That you did, Mizuki agreed, but there's another part to this test that very few know about. It rarely practiced, and some senseis at this academy is hesitant in giving out to their students in fear of their students failing this particular and making them look back as their instructor. What test would that be? Naruto asked, curious about what Mizuki was saying. There's a special scroll kept in the Hokage Tower, Mizuki explained, the Forbidden Scroll of Sealing. This test required the participant to sneak in unnoticed into the Hokage Tower and retrieve the scroll and return back with it to the instructor. They would have to do that? Naruto asked, why such a test be given in the first place? Naruto, Mizuki said, there are certain realities about the ninja life that I'm afraid Iruka failed to instruct you guys in. Some of your future missions will require you to sneak into other villages and retrieve certain documents or scrolls and return back with them without getting caught. Sometimes these scrolls and documents could be hidden in a daimyo's house, cage towers, clan estates, special vaults, or other means of security. To get caught during these missions to spell death for the ninja and his or her team, and trouble ultimately for the village he or she works for. This test was rarely given because too many feared that their students weren't ready for such a challenge and believed that they such be exposed to such realities too earlier on, in spite of the fact that their students were now ninjas and not people to be looked at as defenseless children. Also, this test was graded as a mission, and failure of its completion resulted in the participants being sent back to the academy. I can see why many were reluctant in giving their students such a test after their graduation, Naruto replied, but I'm not one to back down from a challenge. So you'd like to be giving the shot in performing this test? Mizuki asked. If you succeed, you be giving an academic status equal to Sasuke's. I'm in, Naruto said. Good, Mizuki said before he explained what he wanted Naruto to do. Meanwhile, Hinata was waiting patiently outside the academy with her father and sister. Where's Naruto? Hanabi asked. Didn't he say that he wouldn't be long? I'm sure he'll be here very shortly, Hinata replied. That was what you said 10 minutes again, Hanabi shot back. A moment later, Naruto appeared through the doors and made his way over to the Hyuga family. Hey, Naruto greeted, sorry I'm late. Mizuki-sensei really knows how to give speeches as long-winded as Iruka-sensei's, but enough about that. I see that you passed the genin exams as my daughter had informed both me and Hanabi, Hiyashi acknowledged, that's good to see. Was there ever a doubt? Naruto asked. Don't get Naruto, Hanabi said, you're still a long way before you can really prove your merit to anyone. I didn't know you cared that much about me and my dreams, Naruto remarked, my little nighttime firecracker. It's Hanabi, Hanabi retorted. Doesn't it mean fireworks? Naruto replied with a toothy smile, firecracker. Hanabi frowned with narrowed eyes at Naruto. Naruto started calling her by that nickname only recently, and it served to irritate Hanabi to no end. Hiyashi chose to ignore the both of them, already being used to how Naruto and Hanabi act around each other. You may have passed the genin exams, Hanabi replied, but don't think for a minute that I can't put you in your place. Trust me when I say that my Jiyuken is more than enough to see to it. Naruto, who wasn't the least bit intimidated, went over and gestured for Hanabi to come with him as they stepped away from Hiyashi and Hinata. Once a couple of feet away from them, he leaned down and whispered something into her ear, only for her alone to hear. Hanabi's expression turned chastened with reddened cheeks after hearing what Naruto told her. I'll behave, the humbled Hanabi said quietly with her head lowered towards the floor, please, I'll behave. That's my good little nighttime firecracker, Naruto whispered as he patted Hanabi on her head before they went back over to where Hinata and Hiyashi were. The two Hyugas looked at them with curious expressions. What was it you said to my daughter? Hiyashi asked with a stern but interested look on his face. Nothing really, Naruto lied as he stood back up. Just silly stuff, that's all. I'm sorry I can't hang out with you today, Hinata-chan, but there's something I have to take care of, plus there's this green book I have to look for and buy. I'll see you guys later. Hinata didn't get the chance to ask Naruto what it was that came up, turned and ran off in a hurry. I wonder what could have come up so suddenly, Hinata asked herself. What was this green book he was talking about? Whatever it is that arose so suddenly, Hiyashi said, I'm sure Naruto will see to the matter accordingly. Let's be on our way home now. The two girls turned and followed their father back the Hyuga manor. While walking, Hinata turned to Hanabi, who was walking ever quietly. Hanabi, Hinata asked, what was it that Naruto-kun whispered to you? The younger girl looked away, trying to hide the blush on her face. Don't worry about it, Nisan, Hanabi replied, it's nothing for you to be concerned with. From the look on Hanabi's face and her reddened cheeks, it was clear that she was being blackmailed by Naruto, and whatever it was that Naruto had on her, she clearly didn't want to talk about it, let alone have anyone else know about it. Naruto was currently in his apartment reading of the old green book he managed to buy from the bookstore. He managed to escape being overcharged by the storekeeper by using a henge of a common villager. The storekeeper fell for the jutsu and gave the book to Naruto for a decently low price, since book didn't sell much at all. In fact, the owner even forgot he had the book in stock. After hurrying to his apartment, Naruto started reading the book and was shocked to find out what the main protagonist's name was. Naruto. Naruto said in surprise. His name was Naruto. For the next 3 hours Naruto read the book, and as he did, he thought back to that dream he recently had. The lead character of this book is someone I'd like for my son to turn out as. In fact, Kushina and I were hoping we could have your permission to name our unborn son after the lead character of your book. Are you really sure you want to do that? Jiraiya asked in disbelief. I mean, I only came up with that name while eating a bowl of ramen. Though if you did name your son after the character of my book, I guess that would make me his godfather, right? It's a beautiful name. Databane, Kushina agreed with Minato. I'd love for our son to have and bear that name. Naruto. Naruto said. In my dream she was about to say, Naruto. Right before my alarm went off. This can't be by chance that I knew the existence and name of this book from that one dream, and the fact that the lead character and I have the same name. If Minato said that he and Kushina wanted to name their unborn son after the main protagonist, that would mean that the green book fell from Naruto's hand as a huge revelation dawned on him all at once. When he thought about it and pieced everything together, from Kushina's mannerism in her speech and behavior to how he possessed an uncanny resemblance to Minato for reason everyone else failed horribly to pay attention to, everything started making sense. That would make me their son, Naruto realized, the son of Minato and Kushina. I'm the son the Konoha's beloved Yondaime. Naruto paused for a moment to think about something else that dawned on him. He thought back to how since the time of his days in the orphanage how his life was, from how he was mistreated by caretakers of the orphanage until they kicked him out to fend for himself as a homeless 5-year-old, from how he was cruelly treated by the ninjas, villagers and children as the scorned outcast, from recently finding out the village's darkest secret about himself that no one else told him, it all started adding up. The more Naruto thought about it, searing rage and hate started rising within his soul, a hateful rage he in his entire life never felt before as bloodlust started pouring out by truckloads as his canines grew into sharp fangs with his nails changing into razor-sharp claws. His whisker-marked cheeks started becoming more feral as his ocean blue eyes started turned blood red with cat's eye slit for pupils. A red chakra aura started forming around his body adding more of its influence into Naruto's transformation. I'm here for you Naruto-kun, a voice said in his mind. Naruto calmed down upon hearing that beloved voice. Hinata-chan, Naruto said in a feral but calm tone as he saw Hinata in his mindscape. You're my closest and dearest friend, and my boyfriend, Hinata said. You make me happy all the time and I want to make you happy all the time too as your lifelong partner. My father is fond of you though he does have his own way of showing it, just not openly. Hanabi is also fond and interested about you too, which is why she tries so hard to find out so much about you on her own. Those were Hinata's words to him earlier today while they were watching the sunrise on top of the Hokage monument. Remember her words helped to calm down his rage. Despite how his life was earlier in his life, in the end, he wasn't alone anymore. He had precious people in his life now and they in turn allowed him to be part of their lives, the main family of the Hyuga clan of all people. You're not alone Naruto-kun, Hinata said. I don't care about what others think of you for something that was never your fault and I don't care what they think of me for wanting to be with you. All I care about is how I feel for you and how you feel for me. You'll always have me, and I'll always want to be with you, as your moon's eye spring rabbit. Naruto's hateful rage subsided as he started changing back to normal. The red chakra soon vanished as well. I'm not alone, Naruto said to himself. Hinata-chan was always there for me. Her father and sister treat me kindly despite my ill-viewed reputation and in a number of ways they treat me as part of their family. Hearing that word, family, coming out of his mouth caused the young teen to shed some tears. His tears though weren't tears of sorrow or anguish, but tears of immense joy and realization that he had been acknowledged and respected all this by his girlfriend's father and sister. Man I'm stupid. Naruto laughed happily with tears still coming down his face. All this time I always thought Hiashi and Hanabi merely tolerated me being around them and Hinata. Hinata-chan told me that her father told her that my failure in the genin exams would make both him and Hinata-chan look bad. I can't believe how blind I was all this time. It's just too funny. Naruto laughed so much he dropped his anger and replaced it with feelings of happiness and inner peace. I'm fondly viewed and cared for by Hinata-chan's family, Naruto said happily. I'm not alone in this life. Naruto looked at the clock on his cabinet and saw that the evening hours were approaching. It's getting late, Naruto said. Mizuki-sensei's secret test is fast approaching. I better get ready for it. With new positive feelings of optimism, Naruto set out to perform his next task. Later that night, the Hokage Tower was quiet while Anbu and other ninjas were out on patrol. In all this, a figure in the shadows managed to evade and bypass all of the security put in place around the tower. The cunning figure then made his way to where his prize was being kept. Quietly racing through the hallway, the figure entered the room where his target was being kept in. As he approached the cabinet for his prize, Naruto, Hiruzen said as he stood behind Naruto, "What are you doing here at this hour?" Warok number jutsu, Naruto said as he performed his jutsu, knocking Hiruzen out in a heap of nasal blood loss. So much for stealth. Naruto said, seeing that of all people he was caught and seen by the Hokage, "I better hurry." Going over to the cabinet, Naruto opened it and took the large scroll out and placed it on his back with the strap hanging around him. With his prize, Naruto hurried to make a quick exit out of the tower. Standing by the opened window, Naruto turned to the Hokage still lying on the ground. "I'm not through with you yet, Jisen," Naruto said with a neutral tone, "we still have unfinished business." With that said, Naruto leapt out through the window and into the shadows of the night. Soon, Hiruzen regained consciousness and moments later recalled what happened. "Damn," Hiruzen grumbled, "I let my guard down again." He looked and found the cabinet opened with the forbidden scroll of sealing missing. "Oh number," Hiruzen realized in bewilderment, Naruto stole the scroll. But why? And how did he even know about that scroll's existence? Not wasting further time, Hiruzen hurried and summoned all of his available ninjas from Shunin to Junin, Mizuki and Iruka being among them. Upon their arrival, Hiruzen briefed them on what happened while leaving out the part of him being knocked out by Naruto's jutsu. He instructed them find and bring both the scroll and Naruto back to him alive and in one piece. As the ninjas dispersed, Iruka could only wonder what could have led Naruto, the same day after all his efforts to finally become a genin, to commit a treasonous act against the Hokage. Something wasn't adding up. He could only hope to find and bring back Naruto himself before anyone else found and got to him before he did. 3 hours later, outside the village walls. During the hours Naruto was alone in the forest, he looked through the scroll he stole from the tower and opened it to see what useful jutsus he could learn and master. He found Kage Bushin no Jutsu among them, but he disregarded that since he already learned that jutsu. He found a few useful ones and memorized the seal sequences for them, though like Kage Bushin, some of the other jutsus looked rather familiar to him. One in particular he practiced with his Kage Bushins until his got the sequence and usage mastered. When he was done, he closed the scroll and tied it close in time to see a figure appear behind him. "Naruto," Iruka asked, standing behind the blonde genin, "so this is where you've been hiding? What were you planning to do with the forbidden scroll of seal?" "Iruka-sensei," Naruto greeted, "you made it. I thought I would have to wait longer than I was told to." "What do you mean longer than you were told to?" Iruka asked. "Mizuki-sensei told me of a rare secret test that only a few selected genin graduates are given," Naruto explained. He said that this kind of test was given in order to expose new ninjas to the true life of shinobis and the dangers that comes with it. He said that if I make it this far without getting caught for 3 hours until he arrives, I pass the test. Iruka now understood what was going on and how Naruto was being used and deceived. "Naruto," Iruka said urgently, "listen to me. We can clear things up with the Hokage if we hurry back and." Several kunais came flying at them. Iruka managed to leap away as the kunais were aimed at him. Naruto and Iruka looked to see Mizuki approaching them. "Well done, Naruto," Mizuki said with a smile on his face, "you actually did it. You passed the test. Now please, hand over the scroll to me." "Don't do it, Naruto," Iruka warned. "Don't give him the scroll. That test he told you about was a ruse. He deceived you into stealing the scroll for him." "Naruto," Mizuki said, "give me the scroll and in exchange, I'll tell you the truth behind why everyone in Konoha despises and mistreated you so much throughout your life. It's a secret that even the Hokage never told you about, though even Iruka knew the truth." "Mizuki," Iruka yelled, "that information is classified as an S-class secret." Naruto, don't listen to. More kunais was thrown at Iruka. The Chunin managed to evade them, as Mizuki continued. "Do you remember the story about how Yondaime killed Kyuubi?" Mizuki said while fighting with Iruka. "Well, it was all a lie. Yondaime never killed it because there is no way to actually kill a biju. So before his death, he did the next best thing. Mizuki don't. Iruka yelled. He turned the Kyuubi into you. Mizuki yelled. You are the Kyuubi that attacked Konoha and killed all those people years ago, from friends to family members to loved ones, even Iruka's parents. That's why Iruka and everyone hates you so much. That's a lie, Naruto. Iruka pleaded as he jumped and backed away from Mizuki to face Naruto. I don't ha. Iruka never got to finish when a Naruto Kage Bushin appeared from behind and knocked him unconscious. The Chunin fell to the ground, leaving Naruto alone with Mizuki. Well done, Naruto. Mizuki said, now you know the truth, as I promised to tell you. Now please, hand me that scroll. What reason is that I should trust you after I give you this scroll? Naruto asked. You're no better than the villagers of whom you speak. Mizuki saw that Naruto was debating whether or not to listen to him. Look, Naruto, Mizuki said, you don't owe this village any favors, considering how they treated you. The Sandaime failed to have you protected from the people when it was within his power to do justice against them for how they abused you. You can have them and the Hokage lose that scroll as payback for all that they put you through. Consider it your greatest prank against them. There seemed to be an eternal moment of silence between them. After another minute, Naruto grabbed the large scroll and looked at Mizuki. If I give you the forbidden scroll, Naruto asked, what's in it for me? I'll let you learn a jutsu or two from it in return, Mizuki offered, powerful ones. That would be a fair trade-off. But how I can stay in this village knowing that Iruka-sensei and others knows that I stole the scroll, Naruto stated, how will I explain what happened when I return to Jisun? Just tell him that Iruka tricked you into stealing the scroll for him so he could sell it to an unknown buyer, Mizuki suggested. You can add that the deal went wrong and Iruka was double-crossed by his buyer who attacked and left both you and him unconscious before escaping with the scroll. The Sandaime is too kind and soft of an old man to let severe punishment befall you if you can convince him that Iruka used and deceived you. Naruto thought about what Mizuki's words. After another minute he made his decision and tossed the scroll towards Mizuki's direction. The traitorous Chunin ran to catch his prize. The scroll, Mizuki said hungrily. It'll finally be in my possession. Too few seconds before Mizuki caught his prize, the scroll exploded in a large explosion, catching Mizuki in its range. Mizuki was now unconscious and heavily injured and bleeding with a series of burns around his body and ninja clothes and gear with smoke coming off him. Ninpo, Naruto said coldly, Henge Bakuhatsu no Bushin no Jutsu. Naruto walked over to Mizuki and stood over him. For the record, Naruto said, I already learned a few jutsus from the scroll, one of them I used on you just now. 10 minutes later, Iruka woke up to see that he was leaned up against a tree with Naruto and Mizuki no longer in sight. Panicking, he got up to hurry after them when. I'm happy that I didn't hurt you too bad, Naruto said as Iruka turned to see him sitting next to a nearby tree. I can't say the same for Mizuki-sensei after I was through with him. Naruto, Iruka asked, Wah. My Kage Bushins are on their way to return the scroll and have Mizuki brought into Jisun. I did all this after I knocked you unconscious and not by using Warok no Jutsu, Naruto interjected. Despite the seriousness of the situation, Naruto chose to be just a little humorous. Things will be cleared up with Jisun and an explanation for everything that happened up to taking Mizuki out will be made, Naruto added. The search party for both me and the scroll will be called off. Naruto, Iruka said. About what Mizuki said to you with that false test he gave you. I knew he was lying from the beginning before I did what I did, Naruto explained. I was able to see that parts of his story didn't make sense. Infiltrating a cage tower and stealing secret documents or scrolls without getting caught, having such a test given to an inexperienced genin the same day he graduated from the academy. Such a test is ridiculous unless there was an ulterior motive. But you went along with it anyway, Iruka stated. I had to expose Mizuki somehow, Naruto shrugged, it was my word against his. Therefore, I played the role of the misled genin to bait him to expose himself as true culprit before I gave him a false forbidden scroll which was a trap that didn't go well for him. You planned this didn't you? Iruka realized. It's not that easy to trick a trickster, Naruto grinned, something I had to brutally teach Mizuki firsthand. Naruto stood up and looked like he was about to leave when. Naruto. Listen please, Iruka started, about Kyuubi and what happened. I already knew the truth, Naruto interjected, for almost a year in fact. I'm the Jinchuriki of Kyuubi no Kurama. Kurama? Iruka asked with a confused expression. That's Kyuubi's true name, Naruto said. Don't ask how I know, I just do, along with the names of all the other 8 bijus. There was a secret behind how Naruto found out, but he wasn't going to reveal that to Iruka. Iruka was wondering if Naruto somehow managed to open a link of communication between himself and Kyuubi. You knew the truth all along, Iruka asked in disbelief, but I hinted at it yesterday in your class, Iruka-sensei, Naruto replied, when I said how I don't understand how Yondaime, a mere human, could kill such a creature like Kyuubi. When I said that story behind Kyuubi's defeat didn't add up, I was giving you hints that I already knew the truth, that Yondaime sealed Kurama into me. But how did you find out? Iruka asked. Sandaime passed a law forbidding anyone from telling you or their children about what happened 13 years ago. It was done in hopes that you could live a normal life. And we all saw how well that plan went, Naruto remarked cynically. Most of the villagers, and by most the stupid ones, see me as a walking reminder of that creature. They can't see the difference between the container and the object being contained. Iruka flinched, knowing that was the irrefutable truth. How I found out that I'm a Jinchuriki, you wonder? Naruto said. A little research I did about bijus after sneaking into the shinobi library while no one noticed. I went into an area where only chunins and junins are allowed to enter. There, I found a few books discussing facts about Jinchurikis and their bijus, the treatment of some of these Jinchurikis in foreign nations. After putting 2 and 2 together, relating the facts to my own life, it wasn't hard to make the connections clear. As the chunin stood there, he saw that in front of him wasn't the same goofy Naruto he was used to seeing in class all the time. This Naruto in front of him was an entirely different person. He was led to believe that the Naruto in front of him was the real Naruto, while the one he was so used to was nothing more than an illusion. So you're the true Naruto, Iruka said. This is who you truly are, while the one I and others are used to seeing is nothing more than an illusion you cast for everyone. Sandaime was right to suspect something about you ever since the Academy Field Day 4 years ago. I knew for a very long that you, Jisun and others were onto me, Naruto replied, and it made holding up my illusion rather difficult. You wanted no one to know the truth about your true character, Iruka acknowledged, not even me. I can't say I blame you, most of us never really did earn your trust. Only Hinata-chan knows the truth, but I trust her to not reveal that until much later, and I request that you don't either, and that you continue treating me as the troublemaking dead last of our class. Why? Iruka asked, perplexed. You're obviously a lot smarter and talented than you let on over the years, and I see now that you failed many of my tests and other things at the academy on purpose. If anything, you should have been your class Rookie of the Year. So why continue this charade? We're shinobis, Naruto simply replied. Deception is one of our primary weapons. If many knew what my true abilities were, they would formulate ways to counter and handle me. To lessen the chance of that happening, I play the role of the dead last and the village clown who's beneath Sasuke's level. In some unforeseen yet inadvertent way, Sasuke is my living decoy. Iruka took the time to soak in everything he was being told. It was like everything he thought he knew about Naruto was all a lie. You're a true ninja Naruto with 2 faces, Iruka chuckled with admiration, a true face and a false one. You played the fool so well that we became the fools who had succumbed to your long-range illusion. But changing the subject, you said earlier that most of the villagers had mistreated you as a Jinchuriki, but not everyone. Hinata-chan learned of my status as a Jinchuriki from me only a couple of months ago, Naruto said. She's the only person I told this to. Despite that, she never changed the way she looked at me, and she said that she sees me as the hero who saves her and Konoha everyone by jailing the Biju. The old man at Ichiraku and Ayame-chan, despite knowing that I'm a Jinchuriki, treat with kindness and never looked or treated me unfairly like many others. Hinata's father and some from the Hyuga clan, mostly from that cadet branch part, also treat me kindly regardless of the fact that I'm a Jinchuriki. Hinata's younger sister, like many other youths her age and older, doesn't know yet, and I prefer that for now. Saving Hinata-chan from those bullies 5 years ago was the best thing I did. It led the way for her clan to gradually accept me, though some still look at me with disdain. Besides Jisun, the old man, and Ayame-chan, Hinata's clan became a family for me and Hinata-chan as my dearest and closest best friend. These are the very factors that helped me deal with the villagers' discrimination and prejudice against me for something that was never my fault. I'm happy that you have such a dear friend like Hinata in your life, Naruto, Iruka said. I really do mean that. I also want you to know that even though I knew you're the Jinchuriki, I never looked at you as if you were the Kyuubi itself, but its jailer. You weren't the monster that attacked Konoha and killed of all of those people and my parents all those years ago. I know as your sensei I've always been hard on you because I saw a lot of myself in you, to tell you the truth. I understand what it's like to be an orphan. Like you, I made lots of jokes, even if they were on me, just so I could have attention from as many people and children as I could possibly get. But it was a lonely life and I cried many times because I had no family. Iruka sighed and lowered his head. In spite of all this, as your sensei, I failed to empathize with you and instead I scolded you countless times rather helping you where you needed the most help in. Uzumaki Naruto, I'm truly sorry. This was the first Naruto ever seen Iruka apologize to him ever so sincerely. He found no trace of hypocrisy in Iruka's speech. Hey Iruka-sensei, Naruto replied with his huge trademark smile, don't worry too much about it. I still became a genin earlier today even though you delayed me 1 year. But that's water under the bridge and I managed to make Konoha safer with one less traitor to worry about. You did, Iruka agreed, you helped make Konoha safer. I suppose I can reward you. I'm good, Naruto said. Besides I have to get ready for tomorrow to take my ninja photo ID, and there's something personal I have to take care of before the night is over. I'll see ya. Iruka was about to say something to Naruto but the hyperactive blonde had already took off from the scene. And I used to think I had Naruto all figured out, Iruka said to himself. I wonder what more I'm to find out about him. At the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen sighed after he watched the entire scene between Iruka and Naruto from his crystal ball. He was happy that things didn't get out of hand and that the real traitor was exposed and stopped. Leaving his private quarters, he went to his office and sent out a message calling off the hunt for Naruto, stating that the true criminal was found and that the scroll was being returned with the criminal brought in for questioning. While in his office, Hiruzen took out his pipe and filled it with tobacco and lit it before taking a poof out of it. He exhaled the smoke from his mouth as he relaxed. His time for relaxing was cut short when Naruto appeared with both the scroll and a severely injured Mizuki being brought in by his clones. Here's the scroll, Naruto said as he entered and placed it down on the Hokage's desk, and one of the many trashes of this village. His clones dropped the still unconscious Mizuki on the floor without so much of a look of remorse. Hiruzen nodded and snapped his fingers. 2 Anbu ninjas appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Take Mizuki to Ibiki for questioning, Hiruzen ordered. The 2 ninjas nodded and picked up the unconscious traitor and disappeared with him. With them gone, Hiruzen turned back to Naruto. Well done in exposing and capturing a traitor in our ranks, Naruto, Hiruzen said. Though your first unofficial solo mission, I'll give you a B rank pay for it. Still, it's grievous that we have those willing to betray the will of fire this village possesses. Tell me something, Naruto asked. Who was Uzumaki Kushina? Hiruzen almost dropped his pipe from his mouth upon hearing that name being pronounced from Naruto's mouth, but his many years of experience as a ninja helped him keep his control and reaction in check. Naruto, Hiruzen asked, what are you? Don't play me for a fool, Jisen, Naruto interjected. She and Yondaime were married and I so happened to be their child, correct? Naruto reached into the pocket of his orange jacket and pulled out his green book. He tossed it onto the desk next to the scroll in front of Hiruzen. They named me after the very protagonist of that book, Naruto explained, a book that was written by your student and my father's sensei, Jiraiya. And if I'm correct, he's also my godfather as a result. Now Hiruzen was nervous, very nervous. Naruto knew more than he should, Hiruzen realized, and was mentally trying to figure out how he could possibly know everything he was saying. It makes sense really that Yondaime, Namikaze Minato would use me as a host to contain Kyuubi no Kurama, Naruto continued. I mean, what father would ask another father to sacrifice their newborn child and their own life in the process in order to seal Kurama away? I'm sure my father as the Yondaime couldn't ask anyone to do something he himself wasn't willing to do with his own son. I'm sure my mother Kushina died that same day too, though I don't exactly know how, but I'm certain it wasn't through childbirth. Hiruzen knew that there was no point in hiding the truth from Naruto anymore. I want answers, Jisen, Naruto said, and I want them now. How were you did find out about your parents? Hiruzen asked. I had to do my own private investigation and research seeing how you and no one else knew exactly how I came to be part of this village, Naruto remarked cynically. It wasn't easy but I was able to gain access to some very special files. Plus I found it remarkable that my date of birth corresponded to the very day and year Kyuubi no Kurama attacked Konoha. Why do you refer to Kyuubi as Kurama? Hiruzen asked. That's his true name, Naruto replied, not Kyuubi, but Kurama. Could it be that somehow Naruto was able to establish a line of communication with the fox, which is why he knows what he knows now? Hiruzen wondered, considering that it's Kyuubi, that possibility is highly unlikely. There must have been another way Naruto found out. I'm sure you're contemplating on how I found out my information, Naruto said. Well, you don't need to know. It's not important right now. Hiruzen stared at Naruto but gave him no answer. I trusted you all my life, Jisen, Naruto said. I always thought of you as the kindest old man I knew. I always wondered why I was treated so badly by the populace, why I was thrown out of the orphanage when I was 5 years old when I did nothing wrong, why I was looked upon by the ninjas and villagers with intense loathing and disgust as if I was some sort of abomination. Why parents would pull their children away from me and tell their children to stay away from me, why their children adapted their cruel behavior and view towards me, why I would be chased out of stores and restaurants while others overcharged me for their reluctant services, why everyone would sneer and call me Kyuubi brat, or demon, under their breaths, why I spent the early years of my life always going to bed crying. I couldn't understand why I was treated by the populace so cruelly, and I couldn't understand how you being the Hokage kept making excuses for such inexcusable actions against me, the son of this village's most beloved Yondaime who was made into a Jinchuriki by his own father and not by my choice. Hiruzen felt aged and the weight of everything that happened in Naruto's life becoming heavier on his shoulders. I never knew Naruto bottled this much anger and resentment towards me in all of Konoha, Hiruzen thought sadly himself. He hid it so well behind that smiling mask he always wore. Yondaime and I put too much faith in hoping that the villagers would eventually see Naruto as a hero jailing the Kyuubi. I kept the knowledge of your parents' identity a secret for your own protection. Both Minato and Kushina made many powerful enemies from both Kumo and Iwa, enemies that would have come after you repeatedly in an endeavor to get revenge on your parents by killing you. At that time Konoha was heavily weakened after the losses suffered from the Kyuubi's surprise attack. The only way to keep you safe was to keep your identity as Yondaime's son and descendant of the Uzumaki clan secret. Like I couldn't keep a secret if I was taught about my family, Naruto retorted unconvinced. Now I'm hearing that my last name Uzumaki was in fact the name of a clan I never knew existed at one point in time. I was planning on telling you after you made Chunin, Hiruzen said. And what if something had happened to you before that time? Naruto shot back, then what? Who else would have told me if not make sure I didn't get promoted beyond Genin? Hiruzen inwardly flinched at Naruto's logical jab. In all honesty, Hiruzen never took that possibility of his death before revealing to Naruto his heritage into consideration. You had no right to keep that information about my clan and familial roots hidden from me, Naruto continued. You have any idea what it's like growing up not knowing your heritage and familial line, or if your parents really cared about you or abandoned you to fend for yourself? No, you couldn't possibly begin to understand that feeling, so don't pretend to empathize with me. I'm sorry. Hiruzen apologized while feeling worn down as he acknowledged that Naruto's respect for him dropped several notches. I know I have made mistakes. I did try to do my best, but I'm far from perfect, and some in the council back then even called for your immediate death after the sealing, which I had to completely oppose, explaining that killing you would release Kyuubi. Another person suggested that we turn you into a living weapon, which I also had to strongly oppose. When it was announced that you were the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi, the one that jailed it, the ninjas and villagers, out of rage and feelings of the sorrow and loss for their loved ones and close friends, looked at you as the weakened version of the Kyuubi and called for you to be immediately executed. It almost turned into an all-out riot. I passed a law forbidding anyone under penalty of death from telling their children who knew nothing of your status as the Jinchuriki the truth about what truly happened on the night of Kyuubi's attack. And in blind faith you and along with a few others hoped that this would allow me to live a normal life, Naruto replied. It was your father's final wish that you be acknowledged as the hero who saves Konoha every day by jailing the Kyuubi, believing that someday you'd develop and find use for it in protecting Konoha. Hiruzen added, I couldn't deny Yondaimi's request, which he practically made on his deathbed even though I suspected what the reactions of the populace would be. Suspected or knew? Naruto replied. Either way, I was used as scapegoat by the villagers to vent their anger and sorrow on, thinking that it would give them payback against Kurama, an act of cowardice if you ask me. All that I can say is that I'm sorry for the mistakes the ninjas and the populace made, Hiruzen said. I truly did what I thought was best at the time. The populace did nothing to openly defy me. Though traumatized by their grief and loss, they didn't dare try to kill you unless they themselves were looking to be immediately executed, and the same rule applied to the ninjas. The villagers obey with their lips but disobeyed with their hearts. It was malignant civil disobedience, but I couldn't just very well force the populace against their free will to acknowledge you as one of our own unless I or one of my loyal ninjas stood behind them 24 hours a day. Even as Hokage, my authority and powers are limited. Naruto stared directly into Hiruzen's eyes and answered, You're in the mistakes of the stupid ones of this village would have cost all of you dearly if I had become a self-fulfilling prophecy and becoming the very monster everyone believes me to be. Hearing those words sent a cold chill down Hiruzen's back. It's because of Hinata-chan that I didn't become such a self-fulfilling prophecy, Naruto calmly added. Even though the old man at Ichiraku and his daughter Ayame-chan treat me kindly and allow me to eat at their establishment with no hostility towards me whatsoever, in all it was Hinata-chan who saved me from my darkness and loneliness. She sees me for me and not as Kyuubi no Kurama even after I told her the whole truth about my status as a Jinchuriki. I care for her and she's very precious to me. And believe me when I say I'll battle and fight this entire village and anyone else to my death to protect her, even if that means protecting her from Ujisen. Despite his words, Hiruzen couldn't help but form a large smile on his face with a light chuckle escaping his mouth before bursting into all-out laughter, much to Naruto's surprise. And what's so funny? Naruto asked indignantly, You take me for a joke. Hiruzen calmed down to get his bearings back together. You remind me of so much of your father with that same attitude, it's scary, Hiruzen answered. He was just as protective of your mother while they were academy students growing up back then. He was? Naruto asked curiously. Like you and Hinata, Hiruzen explained. Minato and Kushina knew each other since they started the academy. Your father always had a huge crush on her, though Kushina at first didn't acknowledge him. Your mother was a foreigner from Uzu no Kuni, which was once a prestigious village ruled by the Uzumaki clan, a clan once renowned and feared by other elemental nations and villages for their great seal masters. They were? Naruto asked. Maybe it's hereditary that I'm developing and mastering all of those seals then, not that Jisen needs to know what I've been doing over the years. In fact, Hiruzen said, many of the seals we use in Konoha originated from your clan who designed and created them. What became of the Uzumaki clan? Naruto asked. Being a nation known for their powerful seal masters earned for them many enemies that feared and hated them, Hiruzen explained. Uzu no Kuni was destroyed by other foreign nations that banded together in the effort to wipe the Uzumaki clan in its entirety. I don't know if there were any survivors besides you being their last legacy now. I see, Naruto said quietly, but before me was my mother. So what happened between her and my father back then? Kushina and Minato's romance didn't start out perfectly even though he always had an obvious attraction to her. Like you, Naruto, your mother was treated as an outcast, but that was because she was a foreigner. Your mother though didn't tolerate anyone's mistreatment of her and she would fight and beat up anyone who crossed her. Minato though saw past all her faults and biased views of her, and from the shadows he'd always watched over Kushina, admiring her while in hiding from her sight. Sounds a whole lot like what Hinata-chan used to in connection with me, Naruto remarked, seeing a forming parallel between himself and Hinata with regards to his parents. One day though Kumo ninjas infiltrated Konoha and kidnapped your mother, Hiruzen went on. Why? Naruto asked. What did they want with my mother? There's a secret about your clan's bloodline you must know before I continue, and why Yondaime used you as the host for Kyuubi, Hiruzen said. You see, only an Uzumaki can hold Kyuubi. Anyone else would die in the attempt to become a Jinchuriki for that Biju. This is because the Uzumakis were known for their longevity, massive chakra, stamina and endurance. You, Naruto, are the third Jinchuriki of Kyuubi. What? Naruto asked. I'm the third Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kurama. Hiruzen nodded. The first one was a woman named Uzumaki Mito. She was the wife of our late Shadaime Hokage. She used herself to seal Kyuubi away. After many years when approaching the end of her life, a new Jinchuriki was needed before her death. Your mother had special chakra that she could form and solidify into chains strong enough to hold down Kyuubi, which was why she was chosen and brought to Konoha, to become the second Jinchuriki. Naruto was shocked and speechless by that bombshell. My mother was the Jinchuriki before me, Naruto asked. She was. Hiruzen continued. Sometime later, after she became a genin, Kumo got wind of Kushina's abilities and sought to use her as their instrument. No one else was aware of Kushina going missing, but Minato did and went after her before the Kumo ninjas reached the border and single-handedly defeated her kidnappers and rescued Kushina. My father was that strong even then? Naruto asked. He loved your mother to the point that he traced her red hair deposits she dropped to the ground as a hopeful trail for our trackers, Hiruzen said. Only Minato caught onto it. Kushina fell in love with Minato ever since. Just as Minato saved your mother from her loneliness and kidnappers, Hinata saved you from your loneliness and darkness, just as you said before, quite the parallel. Naruto stayed quietly momentarily to take in everything he was now being told, information, though brief, he wanted to know for many years. Soon though, he broke his silence. How did they die? Naruto asked. What were the exact circumstances? When your mother became pregnant with you, Hiruzen explained, it brought about a dangerous situation with it that threatened Konoha's safety. How so? Naruto asked. When a female Jinchuriki becomes pregnant, Hiruzen continued, their seal containing the biju is at its weakest during childbirth. That was also the case with Uzumaki Mito after she became pregnant for Shadaime. During that critical situation and for Konoha's safety, both Mito and Kushina had to give birth outside the village in the event Kyuubi managed to escape. All preparations and Anbu security were made for your birth at an undisclosed chamber a good distance outside Konoha's walls. My late wife Biwaki and a young female medic were with both Minato and Kushina when Kushina went into labor. Minato was to keep the seal holding Kyuubi stabilized while Kushina gave birth to you. But something went terribly wrong during your birth and Kyuubi was released. I'm sorry to say Naruto, but I don't know exactly what happened that led to Kyuubi's sudden escape from Kushina's seal, and both my wife and her medic assistant were killed in the process. Deep down though, I knew foul play was involved even though we made sure no one within Konoha's walls knew of Kushina giving birth. Were the villagers aware that my mother was a Jinchuriki? Naruto asked. Hiruzen shook his head. Her status was never disclosed to the public, so we were confident that no one knew, but we never thought about anyone outside Konoha knowing of it and knowing when she was due to give birth to you. How do you know foul play might have been involved? Naruto asked. All of the Anbu ninjas selected for the security detail were found dead, but not by Kyuubi's hands, Hiruzen explained, but through strangulation. My wife and her assistants' bodies were also found, and upon medical examination, nothing showed that their deaths were the result of Kyuubi's attack but by the same unknown enemy who stabbed them. What happened between that enemy and Minato is unknown, but I believe Yondaime fought the attacker before turning his attention back to Kyuubi, who was wreaking havoc on the village while my ninjas and I were doing all we could to hold that biju off. When Yondaime appeared, he summoned Gamabunta, the toad boss, and had him grabbed and hold onto Kyuubi long enough to relocate the both of them. Using the very jutsu that made him known and feared as Konoha's Yellow Flash, Hiraishin, Minato teleported both himself and Kyuubi over to the very location where you and Kushina were. A few of my ninjas and I hurry as fast as we could to follow after him once we saw how far he teleported with Kyuubi. It was a while before we arrived, but when we did, we found that Kushina, despite being fatally injured from Kyuubi release, used her remaining chakra chains to hold Kyuubi down while your father began the sealing ritual. What did you do in all this after your arrival? Naruto asked. There wasn't anything I or my ninjas could do. Hiruzen sighed. Yondaime formed a large barrier around himself, Kushina, you and Kyuubi. It was clear that they were going to stop and seal away Kyuubi by themselves without outside interference. All we were able to do was listen and watch as things played out. Your father, through the use of an S-class Kinjutsu Ugi known as Shiki Fujin, sealed the dark half of Kyuubi's chakra into himself before using the Hake Fujin on you to seal Kyuubi away into you. Shiki Fujin, Naruto thought. I remember coming across that jutsu with its required complicated hand sign sequence in the Forbidden Scroll earlier. But I never got to actually read up on the nature behind that jutsu. What exactly does that Kinjutsu Ugi does? Naruto asked. It summons the Shinigami, Hiruzen said, an unearthly being that's not of this world. Obviously, Naruto remarked, what's the payment for such a summoning? Is it like the other summonings we read about in class that requires a little blood payment? No, Naruto, Hiruzen replied, for that jutsu an even heavier price is paid. Your soul is devoured by the Shinigami along with the soul of the target that's to be sealed away. Once devoured the sealer and the sealed can never rest in peace. Instead they suffer for eternity in the belly of the Shinigami. The souls of the sealer and the sealed are entwined in hate and are forever locked in combat. Naruto's expressions turned pale on hearing and understanding the nature of the jutsu his father used on himself. He chose to use that kind of jutsu, Naruto screeched, and everyone calls me crazy. Why didn't he just seal both halves of Kyuubi into me, seeing that my mother had the whole thing in her at one time like Uzumaki Mito? I don't know, to be honest, Hiruzen admitted. He evidently knew something we didn't and died with whatever it was he knew. So this Shinigami instantly ate my father's soul right after sealing the dark half of Kurama within my father, Naruto said. No, Hiruzen said, as Minato prepared to use the Hake Fujin to seal away the Kyuubi into you, your dying mother got weaker, enough for Kyuubi to be partially freed from her chakra chains as he aimed to kill you to prevent himself from being sealed away inside you. Your father and mother saw this and rushed to you, using themselves as human shields to protect you as Kyuubi ended up impaling the both of them with his claw as the chains around him tightened. Your parents imparted their final words to you, though I don't know what it was they said to you right before they sealed Kyuubi into you. But I do know that they died smiling knowing you were their surviving legacy and that they got to see you before their tragic demise. After Kyuubi was sealed into you, Yondaime deactivated the barrier seal, which allowed me and the ninjas with me to rush over to where the three of you were. Kushina by that time had already died in Minato's arms. Your father, with his last breaths, asked that you be acknowledged by the villagers as the hero saves them by bearing the burden of jailing the Kyuubi. He wished the very best for you even though things didn't turn out the way he have hoped. And what became of my godfather, Jiraiya? Naruto asked. Hiruzen sighed, not believing that Naruto would like what he was going to hear. He's still alive on active duty many miles outside Konoha's walls, Hiruzen explained, but he hasn't stepped foot back in Konoha for a long number of years since weeks before your birth. And he made no inquiries over my well-being, Naruto remarked. I guess being one of Konoha's famed Sanins and loyal shinobis took higher priority. Naruto, Hiruzen said, I know you must be angry at Jiraiya. But his job as Konoha's best spymaster and keeping up with his large spy network left him little to no time to do things I'm sure he'd have loved to do. Besides peeking at pretty girls and writing Ika Paradise books which many of us, including you, enjoy buying and reading, Naruto shot back cynically. Being on the road all the time, lodging from place to place, having clothing and having resources to fight off dangerous high-class enemies requires income, Hiruzen said. He also had to finance his huge spy network and take care of himself in whatever ways that worked. I guess that makes sense now that I think about it, Naruto admitted. Understand, Naruto, that it would have proven very difficult to raise and protect you while performing his job protecting Konoha from the outside, Hiruzen explained patiently. As a Jinchuriki and Minato's newborn son, you would have had a massive price tag on your head with many bounty hunters coming after you day and night. Even as a Sannin who trained your father, Jiraiya is not invincible and he also has limits to what he can do. Naruto wanted to give a remark to everything he was being told. After so many years, he finally heard and learned many truths about his background and origins. Knowing his heritage, familial legacy, and that he's the last known survivor of a great clan and foreign nation of seal masters that Konoha owes a huge debt to, Naruto felt of a sense of completeness, joy and peace of mind. You kept this information from me all my life, Jisen, and lied about not knowing anything about my parents, saying that it was for my own good and protection, Naruto said calmly. To be quite honest, part of me truly hates you for that, and that same part of me even hates Konoha as a whole for what they've done to me. Hiruzen felt like he was stabbed through the chest by a dulled rusty kunai from hearing those words from Naruto. But for all that Naruto suffered through all his life, he felt he and Konoha deserved Naruto's hatred of them. At the same time though, Naruto said, part of me owes you for not leaving me alone my entire life and checking up on me whenever you could. That and Hinata's affections for me and the bonds I formed with her, her father and younger sister are the very factors helping and saving me from being consumed by my anger and hatred. It'll be a while before I can fully forgive you and Konoha, though I'll still respect you as Hokage. Hearing that made Hiruzen's heart feel relieved, realizing that he still had a chance to make it up to Naruto. Thank you, Hiruzen said. I will earn your forgiveness, Naruto. That's the best I can tell you. Out of curiosity though, Naruto asked, what happened after I was put out of the orphanage even though you found a place for me to live at? I personally fired everyone that worked at the orphanage and had their child-caring licenses and other related certifications revoked. Hiruzen replied truthfully, they also spent time in jail before I was able to find suitable replacements to work at the orphanage. You did all that, Naruto remarked with a smile. Well, I guess it won't be long before I fully forgive you then. Anyway, it's been a really long night and everything I learned tonight gave me a whole lot to think about. So I'll be on my way now. As Naruto turned made a quick exit from Hiruzen's sight. Naruto, Hiruzen said, now isn't the time for the truth about your backgrounds to be made known to the populace. I trust that you will not try to publicize your parentage to them for now. Even if I did, they wouldn't believe me, Naruto admitted, but he smiled brightly. But still, when the time comes, they will believe and accept me, as I will bring about a new rise to the Uzumaki clan. And in time, I will take that hat and robe from you and become this village's strongest Hokage. Naruto turned and left the aged Hokage by himself. Hiruzen sighed as he leaned back on his chair. Minato, Kushina, Hiruzen said lowly to himself, I made many mistakes. I wish I could go back in time and change. But I'm happy that Naruto's will of fire never extinguished from his heart. If he's as great as we hope him to be Yondaime, I'm sure he'll live up to his determination and surpass all of us. At the Hyuga manor, Hanabi was in her room dressed in her sleeping kimono. While alone in her room, Hanabi was pacing back and forth wondering how Naruto found out what she's been doing for some time now and without him being detected. I was certain that I was careful, Hanabi whispered to herself. I made sure that no one saw me. I even used my Byakugan to make sure that no one was around. So how did Naruto find out? The fact that Naruto was able to dodge her Byakugan worried her, and the very fact that he caught her in the act more than once frightened her. Was he spying on me? Hanabi asked herself. If so, when, and how could I have failed to catch him in the act? Hanabi couldn't exactly get angry at Naruto for spying on her, since she herself frequently spied on him, trying to find out more about him since she was skeptic about the stretched rumors and remarks she heard about him. Despite telling Neeson that father trained me in being able to read people, Hanabi said lowly, I got too used to Naruto's presence and let my guard down with him. I saw firsthand how he handled those Junins when they were pursuing him for vandalizing the monument. But what he caught me doing took place before that vandalism incident. The more Hanabi thought about how she failed to watch herself while moving stealthily through the night's shadows to do what she's been doing unnoticed by her own father, sister and clansmen, the more she wanted to know how Naruto was able to catch her in the act multiple times while also avoiding getting caught by her father, clansmen and even Hinata in the process. This Sasuke and others always say that Naruto is a troublemaker, the worst student and dead last of the academy, Hanabi said, but everything I've seen and everyone he victimizes with his pranks and blackmails contradict everything they say about him. It's like no one knows the real Naruto, no one but Neeson. That has to be one of the reasons why she evades all of my questions about Naruto. Well then, if Neeson won't tell me what I need to know, I'll have to find out for myself and find out something on Naruto to use against him for a change. That ought to even things out between us for sure. Hanabi felt confident that she would be able to do what she said she was going to do. She made it her aim to not let Naruto have the upper hand against her. She also knew that she had to be discreet in how she would go about this. Hanabi, Hinata called out from behind the door, are you okay in there? I heard you talking to yourself just now. Embarrassed by her careless act, Hanabi replied, I'm okay, Neeson. I was just thinking out loud to myself. May I come in? Hinata asked. Hanabi considered dismissing her sister but decided to allow Hinata to give her some company. She went over and unlocked the sliding door to see Hinata also dressed in her sleep kimono. Hanabi, Hinata asked with concern, you seemed troubled earlier today after what Naruto-kun told you. Do you wish to discuss it with me? Hanabi sighed at this. Controlling herself, she replied, I told you Nisan, it's alright. You don't have to worry about me. I can handle myself just fine. I'm not questioning whether or not you can, Hinata assured, I just. Nisan, it's late, Hanabi said, if you're here to try to get me to talk about what happened between me and Naruto earlier, please drop it. Besides, you won't tell me what makes Naruto so special to you, so I won't tell you what it was Naruto whispered to me. And you better not try to get Naruto to talk about what he that said to me either. Hinata let out a breath of defeat. Alright Hanabi, Hinata relented, I won't press the matter further. Thank you, Hanabi said, now please Nisan, I'm tired and in need of much rest. I'll leave and retire for the night, Hinata said politely, sleep well. Hinata turned and exit room before sliding the door close. After a minute, Hanabi went over to the door and opened it again to make sure no one was around. Seeing that no one was there, she went back inside and closed the door back before locking it. Dimming lights down, she went over to her closet and opened her cabinet holding all of her training clothes and gear. Underneath all of her stuff was the prize she was keeping in hiding from her father, sister and other main house members. It's safe. Hanabi smiled as she reached for the medium bottle and opened it before closing her eyes and taking small sips of the substance she stored in it, savoring its taste for every drop she sipped. Closing the bottle, she prepared to hide the bottle back in its original spot when her eyes caught sight of a note that was previously resting under the bottle. I don't recall putting that piece of paper there before, Hanabi said lowly as she opened the folded paper and read the note. Despite the darkness, the wording on the note was still legible. Sweet dreams, my little firecracker. Don't drink too much before bed. Hiyashi won't approve of you being less than sober for your morning's training. Damn him, Hanabi cursed lowly under her breath while wondering how long he had been spying on her and how much more he knew about her. And on top of that, he had been in her room and went through her things and clothes without her even knowing of it. Pervert, Hanabi remarked lowly, I'll get even with you somehow.